Hello everyone and welcome. No, I fucking hate that. This is gonna take me so many takes. Alright. Welcome everyone to the Ludonarrative Dissonance Podcast. This is our first episode. None of us have ever done a podcast in this format before. We've all done live streams plenty of times, but we've never really done a pre-recorded podcast in this type of format before, but we'll get into what the podcast is and why we wanted it specifically to be a podcast and not a live show. But first, I wanted to ask if any of you actually know what ludonarrative dissonance means. Which I already actually... Yeah, we already know you know, because we've been in this call for like an hour.
I have it pulled up, and I'm going to read the actual definition so the Tylers can answer.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's like when they tell the story through different interactive and non-interactive means, basically.
Okay.
It's the way I understand it.
Okay.
Isn't it kind of also like the idea that what you're doing isn't exactly happening in the story exactly? Like when if Nathan Drake is killing 100 people, he's not actually killing 100 people in the story.
Yeah.
It's like a disconnect.
Both
are pretty similar. Yeah. What it is, the textbook definition is the conflict between a video game's narrative told through the non-interactive elements and the narrative told through the gameplay. So the big example that I always use is in Uncharted 4 when Rafe tells I can't think of her name. Nadine. When Rafe tells Nadine, don't worry, they don't kill in cold blood, it's not their style. Meanwhile, right before the cutscene, there was a combat sequence where Nate was, cracking people's necks from bushes,
right?
Dozens of them. So and it's a game term, but I could apply to movies as well, because I don't think when we watch something like Indiana Jones, we're supposed to believe that Indiana Jones is a mass murderer.
Right.
So it's just like when you're saying when what's happening doesn't really it's not what's actually legitimately happening.
Right. But what I thought was interesting about it as a term that I didn't know, I knew it meant a disconnect between what is shown and what is said, right? I knew it was a disconnect between what the story is trying to tell you and what the story is actually showing you. I didn't realize it was such a term that was specific to video games, because ludonarrative is a word that's comprised of narrative and ludic, which means gameplay elements or interactive elements. So I thought that was interesting, and it worked out because we decided to name the podcast that before I even knew it was such a video game specific thing. But yeah, now
I didn't know you didn't know that.
I did not know that. I knew it was usually used in relation to video games, but I didn't know that was why that it was a video game term. So yeah, I think that's kind of the idea.
In addition, that's why someone's filmography, all the movies that they make, is filmography. When someone does books, it's bibliography. Someone does music, it's discography. And then when someone does games, it's ludography.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah,
I've never heard that term in my life.
I have not, but I knew that is interesting. I like that.
Right, so Hideo Kojima's ludography would be Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding.
Ludography sounds like it could mean something else.
Yeah, it doesn't quite match up.
That's probably why it doesn't get used very often.
A collection of certain images they may have.
Yeah.
Yeah, See, the problem is it might actually be... I should have probably looked this up before, but I think it could also... It's probably pronounced ludography? I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, but...
Maybe that would have been a
crazy. I've never heard that term. Never heard that term, and I've never even thought about filmography and discography are words that are so in the common lexicon when you're talking about music and and movies. But it's I feel like people don't really with games don't really I never really hear that word in passing. It's very interesting.
Well, that's because something I definitely want to bring up at some point when we're doing this podcast is creators in games are not really, unless there's someone like Hideo Kojima, aren't really celebrated as much.
Right.
It's more so the studio.
I think there's less of
that term is less.
In the industry and because of the nature of video games, because of just how many people need to work on all these different elements to make a video game work, you don't see as many people in that kind of auteur kind of position where you can have that much influence over a game. I think because video games are still viewed by a lot of the industry as like tech products rather than works of art. Like, even though they are works of art, like the industry really isn't built in a way that treats them as works of art. So that's why we don't see very many people like Neil Druckmann or Hideo Kojima that kind of have that kind of auteur persona about them or that recognition. So
that is a good point about the video game directors not being talked about. It's more so the studios.
Yeah.
Because even like, you know, maybe just me, but obviously big video game person, I only like think about the studios 99% of the time. Unless it's like, you know, a director that I really like.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah,
Right.
or a Druckmann. Then I'm like, okay, then I'll refer to the director.
It depends too, because then like there's some like a lot of Nintendo studios, like they're Nintendo studios, but they're not very open about like sometimes they don't say who's making what until like right before, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
or until you see it in the credits, you know. Yeah.
You may go into it exactly like not even knowing. So it's like it just depends how like open. It just so happens with like on the side of PlayStation, like they're obviously very 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 proud of their work and very filled with hubris. So they're very open about like what they do and who does what. And
I looked it up, and it's ludography. That is how you pronounce it.
Ludography.
I was right the first
Okay.
time.
I feel like every time I've referred to, I guess, a ludography, it's I typically just say like catalog or something, you know.
Naughty Dog's catalog, something like that.
Yeah. I've
Catalog.
never.
That would have been
or
another
body of.
great
I,
name
feel,
for
I always say like body
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah, something to that
Body
effect
of work.
because, you know, I never knew that term was a
the word I
thing.
was looking, or the term I was looking for. Body of work for film is filmography. Body of work for music is discography. Something like
Yeah,
Right.
interesting.
Well, I wanted to, before we get too deep into this discussion, something I have on the notes is considering that there may be people listening to this or watching this that have known us from other things, or if they're listening to this, they can't see us, so they can't necessarily see who's talking, so it's good to kind of give a name to each voice. So I'll go first. I am Psycho Strikes Back, Psycho Emerald, Benjamin, Benji, and Ben. I have many names, but usually here on the old interweb I go by Psycho, which works out the best. So that's me. Whoever wants to go next, feel free.
I am Michael. I go by the Zoo Boy on the interwebs, but you can call me whatever.
Yeah, I'm Tyler. I go by T-Mac Swag. But everyone just says T-Mac though. T-Mac is a lot easier. T-Mac Swag is more just
Cut that
the name
swag
that
out. You're not a very swagalicious person either.
Bro, she said swagalicious.
It's been the Instagram name forever, so I've kept it. It's also kind of funny, but yeah, T-Mac, Tyler, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I interestingly enough am also Tyler as well. But Shadow Dragon has been the name forever on the internet. More so Foregone, Dr. Foregone these days. So whatever, I'm good either way.
All right.
I'm sure we'll probably be referring to each other multiple different ways as this goes.
Especially, I feel like T-Mac and Tyler is the most interchangeable thing, like for me in my brain.
Yeah.
But like Foregone and Zoo or Foregone and Zoo to me.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's if I'm talking to Foregone or T-Mac alone, or when the other one isn't there, I'll say Tyler. But if they're in a setting like this where they're both there, I'll usually use T-Mac or Foregone so they don't get confused.
I feel and T-Mac kind of works as like a regular name too. You know, like it doesn't really like I could see someone being like, yeah, just call me T-Mac. You know what I mean? It's like not like a like Zoo's not your name. You know what I mean? But T-Mac is a play on my name, so it's like you know.
Sure.
It feels like more like a real nickname because it is based.
I would
on
say
your
you
name.
could definitely go by T-Mac as a name if you were a pretentious douche. Otherwise, I don't know about that.
Or really, if I had just started it when I was really young, you know, like if it was like a child nickname or
then
something
I would say
like
it's
that,
time to
know?
move on from that. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
it makes sense for a little guy to have a little name. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. 4 letters.
Had to get it in, bro. Had to get it in.
4 letters, bro.
Yeah. Well, if I wanted to continue with kind of the introduction portion of this, I would explain kind of because this thing was my idea and I brought this into fruition. I created this and all of you by extension.
What a creator.
And so I kind of wanted to explain like the process of why I wanted this to be a podcast specifically and where the idea came from. So basically, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of podcasts. It's the type of media I enjoy, especially gaming podcasts, because I play a lot of games. And when I play games, sometimes I like grinding the game or whatever, and I like to have something to listen to or kind of watch on a different screen while I'm doing that. And so I was like, I'd like to do that. I'd like to make a podcast surrounding video games, and it just so happened we all kind of have been able to connect over our love for video games, especially Naughty Dog games like Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2. So I think that's where I saw like, okay, there is a place for a Last of Us podcast, right? That's not really like there's the official Last of Us podcast, but like a fan run like Naughty Dog specific podcast, I haven't really seen that. If there is one, it's probably also very obscure. So I thought that's kind of a void we could fill, but also there's not that much, which is why T-Mac wasn't really super on board with the idea at first, which we were, teasing him about a second ago. But
throw him onto their bus. I love doing that.
There's not a ton of news surrounding Last of Us and Naughty Dog, like, because there's what, like 2 franchises we'd be talking about in the grand scheme of things that wouldn't have that much going on. So like,
and if you do want to hear our thoughts on The Last of Us,
mm-hmm.
we did a show about that.
We did
on my channel.
You guys did the Yap of Us with the show.
Yeah,
as
so
well,
I wasn't even talking about the show. I was just talking about the game stuff. But yes, if you want, we also did discuss the show for the most part. But there is a nice gaming discussion on that.
Because I was going to say I wasn't on when you guys discussed the show because I have not watched the TV.
The game you were on.
But I was going to say all 4 of us were on the game version, which I will try to link in the description of this podcast episode if I can. Where we discuss Last of Us Part 2, but we'll probably discuss it again, honestly, on here because we're going to go through every Naughty Dog game, hopefully. So, yeah. So that's kind of where that came from, but then it kind of, what is Forgon laughing about right now?
I could just tell T-Mac's like, oh God, another 2 hours on that.
No, bro. I love it, bro. No, I love Naughty Dog, bro.
That
you know me.
Now
executive decision, 15 minutes.
Out of everyone that was on the Yap of Us, now I know T-Mac likes The Last of Us the least. Now it's on.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I did so much work. I replayed Part 1. I replayed Part 2. I rewatched Season 1 going into all that.
That's a good point. I forgot. T-Mac does this weird shit. So when we do it, he doesn't have to replay everything every time. So that's why. It's a lot of effort for you.
Yeah, it's going to take
a while.
I don't know, though, because at the end of last year, I started replaying a bunch of Naughty Dog stuff. I started from like Crash 1, played Crash 2, and then I played the whole Jack trilogy. So I've kind of like jumped around Naughty Dog stuff recently, but that was right before we did the Yap of Us. So
if we're doing Crash and Spyro on this channel, you're going to use any excuse to replay those games.
Oh, I mean, bro, I could play through Spyro in like a few days. That's all in here, bro. Yeah. It's all in here, bro.
Yeah. And this is a good excuse for me to get around to playing a lot of those older games I haven't even played. Like,
yeah, because we should probably talk about that real quick. Because I'm 30, T-Mac 31, right?
Yeah.
And then Forgon, you're 32.
Correct.
Yeah, and then Psycho's 8 years old. So there's a big.
I'm 9.5. Actually,
there's a big discrepancy in our ages here. So Psycho hasn't played a lot of the good stuff, and then when he does play the good stuff, like Mario 64, he says it sucks.
Okay, this is another thing I needed to establish right off the gate. We are not going to bring up Mario 64 ever again, or else this podcast will have to end. Unfortunately.
What happens when we play it?
I'm gonna have to quit. I'm gonna have to leave.
I don't even own that. I don't even own that. So. Yeah, I'm not tracking that down.
Right on Switch Online. If you really wanted to play,
get out of like the Nintendo when we do Nintendo stuff because you hate fun.
That's not true. I'm just not playing Puppy Dog Breeding Palace or whatever it is.
It's not what it's
I'm sorry.
That's a crazy name.
I'm just not playing that.
Bro, when's the episode on that? I didn't know about that.
It's called Little Friends Puppy Island, and it's
okay.
Forgon, you'll get that Switch too. You'll get on that Donkey Kong. You'll get there, bro.
I got a Switch too.
Yeah. He just needs a controller.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Wait, so am I the fake fan? I don't have a Switch 2.
Yeah.
When did you get that?
You are the fake fan.
A month and a half ago, 2 months ago, something like that.
How did I not remember that?
Yeah, bro. because I haven't played any Switch 2 specific games for it yet. I'm just playing KOTOR and like Switch Sports. I'm waiting to get Donkey Kong and
Yeah.
a couple other backlog games.
You just
I'm
gotta
waiting
wait.
on this Psycho guy to
Yeah, you
give
gotta
me
get
his
that control. I
controller.
just sent it. I spent all of my life savings to ship it to you today. So,
Damn.
but yeah, you gotta wait to get
So
that
I
controller.
expected to hear by carrier pigeon.
Yep. It was an expensive pigeon. Very expensive. But yeah, I'm sure we'll go off on plenty of Nintendo tangents, considering that at least some of us are very big Nintendo fans. So that's kind of part of it is I wanted it to be kind of like an all-encompassing gaming thing, even if we kind of focus on Naughty Dog more specifically than other podcasts would. But yeah.
I would say at a certain point, once we cover all the Naughty Dog games, probably won't bring them up that much anymore again.
Just the news, I guess.
I would real quick, since this just came up, where would you rank, like, just real quick, the consoles, like your favorite, like, I guess modern consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, like if you had to rank them like 1 through 3 or whatever.
I feel like
Nintendo's at the bottom for me just because I don't play Nintendo as much anymore.
The only way to rank them is exclusives, really. That's the only way. Like, how else would you
I disagree.
Yeah.
And really,
Because can you pick up a PlayStation 5 and take it with you on the bus?
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot.
I mean, you kind of can with PlayStation Portal.
No, you can't. PlayStation Portal is a
You can.
remote
You
play
just have to have an internet connection from the gods.
It's got
Right.
to be internet.
So that's the thing, is I feel like this is why Nintendo is like hardware-wise like worse. Like obviously, like objectively, it cannot run games as well as the other consoles. Like not even close. But like the reason it's my favorite is because, first of all, it's more fun. Second of all, you could just take it anywhere with you, and like no other console, like except like a Steam Deck or something like that, has that same level of like portability and accessibility that I think makes the Switch unique, and why I've been really enjoying my Switch recently.
Someone whose main console is Xbox, I feel like Xbox is the worst.
I think they might be now, but I wouldn't have agreed with that like a couple years ago.
I would say even all time, if you rank their quality of exclusives with PlayStation and Nintendo, they fail. Really, It's just Halo and Gears of War. And Halo and Gears of War, while great, are two franchises.
And they're both kind of. I mean, I haven't played
Well,
either.
you have to well.
Oh, we'll get to them on this.
You have to go back to 360 though, because you have to remember at the time things like BioShock were an exclusive. Things like Mass Effect were an exclusive. Things like
Bro, Forza is arguably like the best racing franchise out there.
PlayStation has Gran Turismo though. I feel like it's just
they're pretty different.
They're a little different.
No, there's two Forzas though. There's Forza Motorsport and there's Forza Horizon.
Exactly.
Forza Motorsport is more like Gran Turismo, but Gran Turismo is immensely more popular. But when it comes to just like normies that just like arcade racers, Forza Horizon is the biggest game, like racing game for sure. But if you're like a gearhead and really into like all the really technical shit, Gran Turismo is I think PlayStation's highest selling franchise like ever. Like
and Gran Turismo,
most people don't realize that. Like it's crazy.
Like you have to get your license for certain types of, so like it's a lot different than just like regular Forza as well. Like regular Forza is more of like I guess it's like Turismo Light in a way.
Yeah, I think Forza Motorsport is like the more accessible version of like a sim racer like Gran Turismo, which I feel like if all you had played was Motorsport, you'd be like, what the hell is this? Why is this an Xbox exclusive? It's just like, that's just kind of their way to have a Gran Turismo. But like Forza Horizon is like super fun. I haven't played it in a while. I really want to play 5. But yeah.
Yeah. It takes like the best elements of like Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, and all those like
Ubisoft's The Crew.
Open world racers. Like Horizon just takes all those things and does them 40 times better. So anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, I would probably put like Nintendo overall probably last for me, even though it has more staying power these days because I don't play on Xbox anymore. But
it's so funny because it's like, as I'm sure we'll talk about, like I always joke that I'm a Sony pony, like I just love PlayStation, but at the same time, I know, but like at the same time, it's like how do I put this? It's like I love my PS5 and I've loved all the PlayStation consoles, but I get more excited when new Nintendo consoles come out.
Right.
And maybe it's because it's like kind of what Psycho was saying. It's like the portability. It's like
Yeah, I think
there's always the chance. There's always the chance before a new Nintendo thing comes out or gets announced. It's like, oh, what wacky shit, weird shit are they gonna do? Because it's always
Right.
you get things like the Wii U, and you're like, what the fuck is this? So it's like, it's like they interest me more. And like even as a collector, like I really like I collect retro games, but like most of the retro purchases I buy are Nintendo. But I would say I probably play more PlayStation games. It's very weird. Like I'm very in the middle. Then Xbox, my love from that just comes from the 360 era, really. Like, and I have a Series X, but I really only have it for like back compat and then like just the random game that I decide to
that's
play on it. But
the retro part's a good point because like I'm not buying retro games like anything retro on 360 or PS3 or something like any retro stuff that I buy and I still buy quite a bit is for my like Nintendo like 64 SNES. I still have like a
yeah,
backlog of NES stuff that I need to get through as well. So like all my retro consoles are Nintendo. So I guess in that regard, I love Nintendo. But
Yeah. I would say the only like I guess technically retro console that I still play and still buy games for is my 3DS, which is a Nintendo console. I don't know. I think it's just because that was the one I had in like my teenage years and kind of, more. It was what I spent more time playing games on, I guess. I had a DS Lite as well, but at the same time, like, you can play any DS games on the 3DS and it works, So I think the 3DS is
yeah.
just like a great system to go back to because there's just such an extensive library for it and there's still so many games on it that aren't anywhere else that are still worth playing. And I still think like as far as a portable system goes, like the like form factor of having like the dual screen system that folds that you can easily fit in your pocket, like I still
I
love
love it.
that. Yeah. Like it's still probably my
I
favorite
miss
system
it.
ever.
I miss it so much.
Yeah.
We need to go back to things like that. Well, we don't, but I wish.
I would love like more gimmicky stuff like that. Like the Switch 2 is cool, but it is kind of like it's exciting for like a week and then it's like, all right, now we just have the new Switch and it just is a Switch. So it's not exactly like the most exciting new thing like the Switch 1 was
It's
when it
another
came out.
Switch, and we'll probably have it for like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing.
We're locked in until like whatever the hell, like 34, 35, or
or
whenever they decide to go again.
I just went and dug this up. You mentioned 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
So for our audio
Oh, hell yeah.
listeners, I'm showing an original Game Boy that I've had. This I'm not as old as the original Game Boy, so this was my older brother's. He's a couple years older than me.
Oh, nice.
This
So
was also my
he
this
gave
was
me this.
also my brother's. I have one as well.
Yeah, I've gotten rid of all my other Game Boys like over the years, but this is the one I kept. I haven't booted it in a long time. It's a little rough for wear. As a kid, you just beat the hell out of it, but there she is, bro. And I still have like Killer Instinct and like Mortal Kombat 2,
Nice.
like Game Boy,
That's awesome.
like Game Boy carts for it. So, and Super Mario Brothers 2, I think, or World 2 or whatever that one is.
Okay.
I have that as well. So.
Nice. Yeah, I never had a Game Boy. I'd love to get like a Game Boy Color or something someday, but
But you really like you cannot play this without a light on. Obviously, like all these old
yeah,
Game Boys.
it's like playing on a fucking calculator or something. Like
Yeah,
I had a Game Boy Color that had a light attachment.
I used to have one of
Worm
those.
light.
And like back in the day before you could just wirelessly send Pokemon to each other, you had to have like the little fucking connecting cord to
Yeah.
plug your Game
Link
Boys
cable.
in, and
mm-hmm. Gotta love the link
Anyway.
cables.
I
yeah.
hated that shit.
I think we've pretty like I wanted to like talk about how we all connected over gaming, but I think we pretty well summed it up by just going on a video game related, conversation tangent right there. So I think that pretty much sums it up. Next thing I had on the list was listing off our top 3 favorite games or just our favorite games in general, but we're going to start by going through the top 3 for each of us, which I assume this is going to be the longest portion because I'm sure we'll go on plenty more tangents during this. But if we want to go top 3, we each start with like our number 3 and then go around each saying our 3 and then 2 and then 1.
Do you want to do?
So what order do we want to do?
You, me, Foregone, T-Mac. So that's how we introduced ourselves.
Okay. That works.
Actually, no. T-Mac introduced himself before Foregone because he's
Yeah, no, I was last.
phenomenal, but that's okay.
All right, that works. I guess I can go first. I guess it's fitting that the first favorite game we're going to talk about is a Naughty Dog game, but this would be my number 3. Uncharted 4, Thief's End. I remember I played through all of these when I first got my PS5. I think I got it in 2023, so that'd be about 2 years ago now. And yeah, I got the Nathan Drake collection. I had seen the Uncharted movie, and I thought it was mid as all hell. But I was like, well, if they made a movie out of these games got to be pretty damn good. So when I got a PlayStation, I was like, now it's time to play through the Uncharted games. I played through the Nathan Drake collection, so the original trilogy. I remember loving 2 and 3, but especially 2. I thought 2's story was just really great, and I'd never really connected with a video game story in the same way as Uncharted 2. I just thought the dialogue was so well written. I loved the characters. I thought the plot was really fun. And of course, it's just got all these big action set pieces that at a certain point, like, the game's like, it gets kind of hard at some points, but overall, like, you're kind of just running through a cutscene, but it's still a very fun kind of third-person shooter action game. And then I think 3 was better with, like, the melee combat and stuff. But 4, like, Zoo, you had told me before I played 4 that 4 was going to be the best one, and so I had that expectation going into it, and it still like absolutely blew me away because I think like having Neil Druckmann be like at the head of this game, like it's just the jump in quality between the original 3 Uncharted and Uncharted 4, especially in terms of the writing and the performances. And I just absolutely loved this story. I've played the game 3 times. I played the original 3 once each. And then I've played Uncharted 4 3 different times because I love it that much. It's like one of the best looking games I've ever played. The performances are all great. Yeah, still to this day, it's one of the best games ever.
Came out 10
looking
years
games
ago.
ever. Yeah.
9 years ago, and I think it still is one of the best looking games.
Absolutely, yeah. Like there's just certain portions of the game where you just like go in. It's also like seamless because of course you have like the classic like hidden loading screens and stuff. But when you're really in that story and in the world, you don't really notice it. You don't get taken out of it by like, oh, I'm squeezing through a wall here or whatever. Or, oh, we got to lift up this heavy door for the 80th time. Like, you're not really thinking about it because you're just like, I just want to be with these characters more. Like, this is so much fun. And yeah, I absolutely love the story. Gameplay's like, once again, not the greatest gameplay ever, but it's still really, really fun, very smooth, very polished because it's Naughty Dog. And yeah, it's just one of my favorite games ever. And I had to have a Naughty Dog game in my top 3, so I would absolutely put Uncharted 4 up there.
I love that you bring up the iconic PlayStation. We have to hide the loading.
Yeah,
you're either lifting a door, you're squeezing through an alley. Like it's so fun.
Absolutely,
it's so funny. Every time I do it in a game, I like can't help but like laugh a little bit because it's like it's the signature PlayStation thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And every game does it now too. It's
yeah.
And I notice it now every time. But like I said, if I'm enjoying a game enough, like I don't really care, and you just kind of get lost in the experience that way. So I think it's a good thing that they do that. It's better than having to stop for a loading screen. But
for sure,
yeah.
I'm a bit of a cheater, so the way I do this is I'll be talking about series because they're so similar. If you look at my top 10 favorite games, it's basically from 3 game series. So to not do that for the top 3, I'm gonna stick with series. And most of these I view as like parts 1 and 2 or parts 1, 2, and 3, something like that. So for example, my number 3 would be Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a phenomenal game series. As someone who, for a long time, I just didn't think I liked sci-fi until I watched Star Wars and played Mass Effect, and I'm like, oh no, you like good sci-fi. You just have experienced bad sci-fi all the time. But Mass Effect's it's known for its characters. And I think that the characters in Mass Effect stand up as some of the best characters in video game history, at least in the 1,000 games I've played. And I think that the voice acting performances and just the overall story of it's an RPG, so you could change what happens. There are choice-based scenarios, and I think that it's done so well. The ending of the trilogy, the 3rd game, was controversial. I don't have as many problems with it as a lot of people do. I'm sure at some point on this podcast we'll go over this. and I can go into more detail about that. But overall, I think that if you are a gamer and you're not playing Mass Effect, you're doing yourself a disservice. And 3 out of 4 of us have played. Psycho has not played. But
It's like $6 on PlayStation. I just know that, like,
yeah.
first of all, like, I mean, I know it's not like a traditional RPG, but it's still like it's a lot of like dialogue and a lot of like long kind of, I guess it's it's kind of hard to know, I guess. I don't know that much about Mass Effect, but I know like it's an RPG and it's 3 different RPGs. So it's going to be a very big time commitment. So I have to like
It's Mass Effect's biggest problem, I think, is that you kind of have to lock in and play all 3. You do. Like,
yeah, cuz it
See,
carries over
I
too.
disagree
Yeah.
with that because I played Mass Effect in order to give myself the experience that other people had, but also the way that in the game that they're separated by a little bit of time each time. I played Mass Effect 1 on my birthday. I waited a year, played Mass Effect 2 on my birthday, waited a year, played Mass Effect 3. And that was the first time I experienced them, and I loved that. That was such a cool experience because when the main character, Commander Shepard, sees characters that he hasn't seen for some time, it was the same as me. I haven't seen these characters, so it was like identifying with the character in that way. It's about 100 hours to play all 3 of them, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check because this what I'm holding up for our audio listeners is the Legendary Edition when they remastered it for modern consoles. When I replayed that, I did play them back to back to back, and I'm pretty sure it took me about 100 hours to play all 3. So that's not bad because some open world games like I'm currently playing Ghost of Yotei. I expect that to take me 100 hours just that game alone. So Mass Effect isn't as long I think as you'd think, but I really enjoy pretty much everything about the game. And I think that the cool thing is when we get to the podcast episode where we'll talk about this, all 4 of us will have different experiences because you can play as a man or a woman, you can play good or evil, you could romance different characters, different squad mates, people can die, people can survive. So all 4 of us will have different experiences, and that'll be a lot of fun to talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest video games of all time, and it's my number 3.
Nice.
all right, so my number 3, it's always so hard for me because I'm a bit of a cheater too, where it's like my favorite games can kind of change. I feel like I have a general like top like 30 games where it's like if you ask on any given day, it could be in my top 5 of favorite because just so many games are so important to me. So for number 3 and starting off, I decided to go with the game that really started it all for me, Spyro the Dragon, which I'm holding up for video watchers. So very, very cool. I think when this game came out, I was like 4 or 5 years old because I was born in '94. I think it came out in like '98 or '99. But that was the first game that was really like my video game because growing up, my parents had an Atari 2600. They were very early adopters to games, which was awesome. And I have siblings that are much older than me, so growing up, we had an NES, so it's like, I knew like Mario 3 and Mario 1 and like a lot of those classics. And then we eventually got the PS1, and it was my brother's console, and he played things like Metal Gear Solid and like WWE games and stuff like that. But it's like Spyro was the one that was really mine. And Crash Bandicoot was in there too, of course, but Spyro was the one that like it impacted me so much. Like I can still play Spyro and think I have like nostalgic flashbacks of like being in my old house, like in the afternoon playing like before like my brother and sister had gotten home from school, and it's just so cozy. And it's your classic 3D platformer, collectathon, like whatever you want to call it, but very important to the console, very important to the time, and the music was amazing, done by Stuart Copeland from The Police, which is insane to think about now. Like that, someone that high profile did.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know that
The
either.
Yeah, he
fucking
did.
Police?
Yeah, think about that. The drummer from The Police did a soundtrack for a game where you play as a little purple dragon and collect gems
That's
and save dragons.
crazy. I never knew
It's
that.
very, very bizarre, but it holds a very special place in my heart, like the game, the franchise. But yeah, I love it so much. It's very important to me.
All right. I'm also going to cheat here. And wouldn't you know who won the pony if Zoo did not already talk about my number 3 as well. Also, the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, just a different steelbook that I'm holding than what Zoo had. Um,
Could be
yeah,
okay.
yeah. When I was thinking about this, and I've thought about like my favorite games for a long time, and I'm always changing them. Like T Mac said, like I have just like a collection of games that I just automatically think. But Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect in general is like one of those games that I guess like changed like the way I approach games, I guess, like after I played it.
I agree.
Everything about that franchise, and if I had to pick like my favorite from that one, is probably two. But everything in that franchise, just the way it's presented, the way you have to go through it, and Zoo talked about people can die or live, and you can choose different things like other RPGs. But like this, to me, and I still think this might be the only RPG to me where I feel like the choices actually matter. Like I think a lot of other RPGs when you play them, like yeah, you make choices and there's like differences, but like I don't think any of them are like consequential enough.
Mhm.
Whereas
There are
in
some choices in Mass Effect where entire races can die. There
yeah,
can be a genocide of an entire
exactly.
race.
Yeah, I think in Mass Effect, like yeah, you make some of these choices and like it's drastically monumental, like the differences that can happen, and so people can have different playthroughs. And if you do like log the hours and take the time to get through as much of the content, like that's a big deal because like Zoo was saying, like you could kill off an entire race and it might be a race that you have encountered 4 or 5 times or done things for and you're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to kill off or whatever, you know. Um and the storytelling is phenomenal. I mean, it's BioWare, so like what do you expect? Um yeah, and I just couldn't like normally I give Zoo a hard time where he's like, I think, the series, like all the games run together, like I don't know. I think I tend to give him a hard time for that, but I think specifically for Mass Effect, I think he's right on that. Like it's hard to
I think,
separate mass.
yeah,
It's hard to separate it
you really
for
have
me.
to rank Mass Effect like that because Mass Effect 1, it does stand alone and it's great at that. However, Mass Effect 2 and 3 really work in tandem with each other
Yep.
because Mass Effect 2 essentially doesn't have a plot, it's all character development.
Yep.
And Mass Effect 3 is very light on character development because you were intended to have
It
played 2. So
yeah.
Mass Effect 3 is like all plot. There's so much plot happening at once. So really Mass Effect 2 and 3 have to work together.
And this is sort of similar with another game that is going to make an appearance on this. By the time you get to 3 and this is the last one, it really does feel like a finale. Like I think sometimes like these series, you'll have 4 or 5 games deep, and they'll be like, "This is the last one," and you play it, and you're like, "It doesn't feel like a finale. Like nothing feels like this is going to be good enough to be the end." And I guess that's a whole other argument. But like when you're playing through Mass Effect 3, like Zeus said, it's like one battle after another, man. It's like bam, 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 and it really does feel like you're like the climax of like a movie series or like a TV series or something. And yeah, bro, this is like BioWare at their absolute pinnacle, in my opinion. Like this is last thing I'll say is like this is masterful storytelling from a game studio, and it's storytelling that like I find myself still yearning for, and a lot
Yeah.
of like just from a lot of game franchises that I like.
Mm.
So
Well,
yeah.
how do you guys feel about Mass Effect Andromeda? Is that included in your
No, not in my top 3.
No.
I think that it's a little under or overhated. I
It
don't think
is.
it's a horrible game, but it's nowhere near my top 3. Not even in my top 10.
No.
Probably
Mm.
not even my top 25. But
You know, one
it's
of the
it's
biggest
it's a good game.
yeah,
7 out of 10.
it's fine. Like I don't it's like I agree with Zoo. It's not like a lot of people think it's like dog shit or whatever. I don't think that. My biggest problem with it is it definitely like the plan was for that to be like a start of a new trilogy, and it feels like a setup for things that are to come.
Mm.
So you don't really get.
They will not come, which is
Yeah,
a
you
shame.
don't get it. You don't get it. Like it kind of is just very open ended, and like nothing feels like concrete, and you're waiting, and like they had DLC that was canceled that they had
That
promised.
was
So
then
it's like,
turned into books.
yeah, so like everything that game sets you up for the future just never comes to fruition, and so it's a very just like disappointing play. It's like
And
it's fine.
we will see because there is a new Mass Effect title in development. We don't know what it'll be called. Will it be 4? Will it be 5? It depends on if they're viewing Andromeda as a spin-off as an actual entry. But it's supposed to be a sequel to the original trilogy and Andromeda. So hopefully if that is good, it will make Andromeda age a little better.
It might.
So
It
we'll
might.
see.
But there are like massive things missing from Andromeda that like they're just like, oh yeah, it's just like mentioned, and then you just never get to see it like an entire race. It's
My
yeah,
favorite
bro.
race.
Yeah, I like to think that game doesn't exist, to be honest with you.
It also launched in a pretty rough state. Like it
Yeah,
was.
it was bad when it came out. Yeah.
Now it has been patched. And
Yeah.
I always push for people to give games a second chance because just off the top of my head, I could think of Mass Effect Andromeda, Assassin's Creed Unity. I know
Oh,
Foregone, of
Unity.
course, will say
Unity.
Cyberpunk for
Cyberpunk.
sure. Even Dice EA Star Wars Battlefront. All of those games they launched in a pretty piss poor state, but then were patched to become an actual pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
Varying levels of
And
good games.
and like real quick, like Unity is like one of the best Assassin's Creed games in the entire franchise. It's like not I don't think it's like way up there with like, 2 and but like Unity is very fucking good. And Cyberpunk is like one of the best RPGs of like the modern era. So
As someone who loves history, I was a history major in college. My grandfather loved history, took me a bunch of places in the United States of historical significance. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I think Unity is probably the best map.
yeah,
Like Paris is probably the best world in Assassin's Creed.
yeah. I think it does a lot of things the best in that game.
Parkour.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the parkour.
Parkour.
Yeah. Parkour. Do we want to do reverse order? You want to
We
go in
could do
reverse?
reverse order. You'd just have to go again.
I can go again. That's fine.
Okay.
If we want to do reverse order, mix it up.
I
All right.
mean, I guess let's do that. Yeah, go again.
Reverse order. All right, number 2. Yet
Morgan just
again.
wants to talk again.
No, I just.
That's okay because I want to
Anyway.
hear him talk again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Again, this is the finale of a franchise, or so we thought, and it actually feels like a finale when you play through it. And one of the another game that like made me emotional towards the end because at the time I was like, this is the last I'm ever gonna get to experience this character. Halo 3.
Nice.
Halo 3. I'm holding up this insane like steelbook collection that I found.
That looks like a brick.
Yeah, dude, it's massive. This is not my original copy. My original copy came with if you watch the video, like the helmet back there. But yeah, Halo 3. Halo is like I would probably say it's my favorite like game franchise, period. So, and Halo 3 is my favorite of the bunch, and it's uh just so rewarding by the time you get to the end of the story. And like Master Chief and the Arbiter and Cortana are just incredible characters to me. And for it to just be a first-person shooter, I think is kind of crazy because I don't think any other shooters in general are really on the level of Halo in terms of storytelling, personally. But yeah, bro, and the multiplayer, like that's like peak gaming, like online gaming for me as a child. And this Bungie, like this Bungie is no longer around, sadly. Like the Bungie that delivered the original Halo series and like Reach, it's like that Bungie is gone. So it's just another studio that I yearn to just like make games like that again. Like I like Destiny, but it's nowhere near this. But yeah, Halo 3, the multiplayer is incredible. The story comes to a resolution that feels earned and rewarding, and like it really didn't leave me wanting any more. Um, so yeah, I think Halo 3 is the best in that entire fucking franchise, to be honest with you. So.
I think you say it very well. I think Halo, while I'm probably less critical than most about the Reclaimer saga of 4, 5, and Infinite, it definitely didn't need to exist. And
No.
I think it's perfect. Halo 1, 2, and 3, and then you have a prequel. And that's a great saga series on its own. Those three in the prequel. It just ends in a perfect way, and similar to Mass Effect about the Reaper War. The Halo original trilogy is about the Covenant War, and like how Mass Effect 3 ends the Reaper War, Halo 3 ends the Covenant. And having that final conflict, similar to what you and I were saying about Mass Effect, really just ups the ante and the stakes of, this is the final acts of the war.
Yeah, because
Halo 3 is great.
Like Halo 2 the end, I won't spoil it for anybody who might have not played like a 20-year-old game by now, but like the ending.
I'm sure we'll talk about Halo on here.
Yeah, the ending of Halo 2 is like at the time when I finished the game, I was so upset because I was like, I can't believe that's how it ended. But like then when you pick up like in Halo 3, that ending to Halo 2 is so perfect to set you up to like we're in the action. Every mission is like nonstop, just throat punch. It's good stuff. The story is good. The voice acting, even like the little that Master Chief says in these games is like always great. And it's funny to me, like Master Chief is the main character, but like Halo 2 and 3, like I feel like almost shifts the story to be like the Arbiter story, you know? Like I feel like the Arbiter's journey ends up being more so the more important part of the entire story to me. At least it's the most fascinating to me because of what
He's
the
my
Arbiter
favorite
goes.
character.
Yeah, because of what the Arbiter goes through in the journey that he takes. And so you're kind of going back and forth in both games, and then you finally get them together, Arbiter and the Chief, and they get to have their moment together. And I mean, you want to talk about video game soundtracks, Mass Effect and Halo, like as a whole, the soundtracks
Marty
in those
McDonald.
games,
Incredible.
they're
Absolutely
just
iconic for sure.
legendary. And like the advertising for both of these, that's another thing that nobody's mentioned, but the advertising for both of these game franchises, especially going into the last one, like the ads you would see on TV, Halo with the live action ads that just
Finish the fight.
oh my God,
Good stuff.
absolutely just incredible. And yeah, just nothing like I'm going to say this a lot, and I think we all will because some of these games are old, but like as much as I love gaming now, and we all do, and we have great moments, I just feel like maybe it's just because I'm old, but like nothing has. It's hard to find something that has like the pool and like I don't know, like the emotional connection as I do to some of these, which is crazy.
Yeah, that all has to do with. I hate overusing the word nostalgia, but it's like you grow up with these things and you have such an emotional attachment, and then it's like when you play them again, it brings you back to this just cozy place. Like that's how it is for me. Like all my favorite stuff that I love when I was a kid, I just like find like effortless comfort in it, you know? It's like things I've played a million times. I don't have to even think when I play it. Not that, and I don't mean that as like a knock. I just mean it's like coming back home, you know? It's like not even, it's just you get, and in the moment of today, it's like you don't really, you're playing new stuff. You're not getting that feeling because it's something new, you know? But it's like in 10 years, it's like maybe you'll go back and play something
That's true.
that you played around this time and be like, oh wow, like this kind of takes me back to when I was like, you know, like in my early 30s or whatever, you know.
I think like modern wise, I could probably think of like 3 or 4 games that I feel the same way that I do about these and everything else. Like, yeah, I might enjoy that game, but it just kind of, yeah, it's a good game, but doesn't really have staying power. I use staying power a lot when I talk about music. Like, that album didn't have a lot of staying power with me. And I feel like I'd say that a lot about, even though I love a lot of games, especially a lot of modern games, and like I have 2 in my honorable mentions that are like very modern. I feel like most of them just don't have staying power. So
You're absolutely correct. That is something that I talk about with most video games that I play. I have a lot of fun in the moment, but definitely doesn't have any staying power. A great example of I'm playing the sequel of right now, Ghost of Tsushima. I thought was an excellent game. I think I gave it like a 9 point something out of 10. I don't really even have flaws with that game, but it definitely didn't stick with me over the years. I think that game might have came out. What do you guys know? 20.
It came out. It came out the month after Last of Us Part 2.
Yes, 2020. So it just, if you ask me to tell you what happened in that game right now, I don't know. And I could tell you the main character's name, Jin Sakai, and that's really it. I can't really tell you anything else about that game. I could tell you about the gameplay and the world and how it made me feel, and that's what stuck with me. But
not the
staying power of the narrative, there wasn't much.
You're right.
But that's something that I feel with a lot of games, and everything that's I'm talking about today. All of these games had immense staying power for me, for sure.
Yeah. That's it for me. Halo 3. Peak.
Okay, so next one. Something we've talked about a lot, but Last of Us Part 2. I got the original copy right here. Got the remaster right here. What's more to say about it? Amazing game. Naughty Dog, directed by Neil Druckmann, written by Ali Gross. Controversial game, some would say. Divisive, some would say. But I found it to be one of the most rewarding, emotional, upsetting games I've ever played. I remember beating it and
Got mine.
I remember beating it and just, those credits hit, that Naughty Dog logo pops up, and you're just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And I remember just for like a week after that, I just had like a pit in my stomach every time that I thought about it. But I love it. Amazing performances. Ashley Johnson, Troy Baker, everybody in the game. It's just amazing. And I know so many people talk about, how Naughty Dog doesn't have the best gameplay. Like Last of Us Part 2 is where I'm like, nah, they got good gameplay. Like,
yeah, it's
if you watch videos of the stuff,
it's like,
you watch videos of the compilations that people, like the crazy stuff people can do, and people that are way more talented than me at video games. I'm like, nah, like there is something here. And you can even see that with the in the remaster, they added the no return mode, where it's like all combat focused, and it really focuses on you crafting items, picking up weapons, and just taking out enemies like as fast and as quickly as you can without efficient as you can without like getting hurt or whatever. And it shows like how much they built upon those systems.
Yeah, I think that no return was what made me recognize that, oh yeah, this gameplay is actually like really fun. Because like in the game, I was kind of just like, man, I want to get to the next cutscene. I want to see this story keep going. And so the gameplay kind of felt like a slog because it just went on so long. But like when you're just in like the fast-paced action of no return, you're just crafting weapons and you're going up through all these encounters. Like I had a lot of fun with that. I played quite a bit of that after I beat the game. But yeah, I would say Last of Us Part 2, like it's understandably like divisive because it is a very like it's a very bold game. A lot of very bold decisions were made with it that I can understand why they wouldn't sit well with a lot of people, and I can understand why a lot of dumb people might not really understand what it's about. But it's one of those gaming experiences. I played it recently, probably about a year ago, maybe more. And yeah, I haven't like forgot like any of that. Like it was one of those like really special gaming experiences that I don't think I'll ever forget. I think I played through like the whole like 30-hour game and like maybe the span of like 4 days or something like that. Like I couldn't put it down. It was great.
And it just feels like a game that is a studio with a lot of money behind them at like the peak of their powers. Like it's PlayStation being like, take all this money and make like, make like your masterpiece. Like it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna feel amazing. I don't know. It's upsetting. It is a divisive game, and like I get it too. But then I also just don't get it. It's like it's.
I don't get how some people say it's bad. I guess like I understand why someone would be like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. Like I didn't like that game. Like the decisions they made, I didn't necessarily agree with or whatever. Like I get that. I don't get when people are like, oh, this is bad or like this is poor quality or whatever. Like that's when I'm like, yeah, you're kind of like
or when
wrong.
It's bad writing.
It's bad writing, right? Like things like that.
It's factually incorrect,
right?
Yeah, if people say this is a terribly written game, oh, but I haven't played it though.
Right.
Yeah. Psycho's right. Like, if
Yeah.
you don't like some of the overall, like, arching decisions they made, that's fine. But you can't in good faith say that the story as a whole is not good.
Right.
Like, it's just not possible.
Like I could understand
So,
someone being like, I would rather have seen a part 2 where spoiler where Joel was alive, right? Like I could understand someone saying like, yeah, I wanted to see that relationship explored with Joel and Ellie both being alive. But I think it was so much more interesting to explore it without having Joel in there and seeing how that kind of dynamic played out through like the flashbacks and through like seeing the way like Ellie behaved in like the wake of losing Joel. I think was a lot more interesting. But I could understand where someone would be coming from, like wanting to just have more time with Joel. I get that, but that's kind of how you're supposed to feel at the same time. Like you're supposed to kind of feel like, oh man, like I wish he was still here. You know, and that's kind of what propels the game. So
It's the idea. It's I think Andy Bernard says it in The Office. It's like I'm gonna butcher the quote, but it's like you
I
don't
know what I
realize
know what quote, bro.
you
I
don't
know
realize
it.
you're in the good times until they're gone.
right,
Like
Ugh.
it's very much that to a
someone should
T,
write a song about that.
right. It's a game that it kind of demands the audience to see it all the way through,
Exactly.
like and really think about it for a while. And yeah, I just love it. I love Naughty Dog. I love with games like this that come out too, that they put out these big documentaries of the making of, and it just fascinates me. Like big studios, like game studios like that, when they like do those in-depth looks, I find it so interesting and so fun as a fan of these things. So yeah, amazing.
I'm staying very silent because when we get to
I know.
Yeah, we know where you're going. I
Uh-huh.
think it's your turn.
But yeah, from one Naughty Dog game to another, because for my number 2, we have Uncharted, all 4 of them,
Nice.
the tetralogy,
And Lost Legacy, right? Would you include Lost Legacy in there?
I'm not including Lost Legacy in this. I think it's really its own thing. I wouldn't really.
I am
necessarily...
different, I guess, because it was like Uncharted 4 DLC, right? I think it's like even more connected. Like, I don't even consider it necessarily a spin-off. I consider it like part of Uncharted 4.
You could, if you include it like that. I mean, I think Uncharted Lost Legacy is better than Uncharted 1.
I think
It's just
I like it more than probably all the first 3. I don't think it's better than all
It's
the first 3,
really
but I think it's very fun.
it's really unacceptable that I haven't played it. Like
You're crazy.
I'm sorry. But
For
the
me-
fact that I have to interrupt because the fact that Foregne's message saying "gotta piss" is gonna be in the recording now is like really funny to me, because I know he was intending not to have that be said out loud, and now it's just gonna be on the screen. I don't know if I'm gonna cut that out or not. I just think it's really funny.
Wait, it showed up on the.
Yeah, it did. It's in the recording now. It just says "gotta piss."
That's why when I had to go before, I just got up and didn't say anything because I'm like, I'm not gonna like stop the flow. But
Keep that shit in, bro. Your boy had to piss.
All right. But the reason why I'm ranking it again as 1 is it's Nathan Drake's story from beginning to end. And I think that's why I wouldn't include Lost Legacy, because while great, and like I said, I do think it's even better than the first Uncharted, it's really its own thing. It's really developing Chloe and Nadine's story, not Nate's.
Mm-hmm.
But Uncharted, to me, the first time that I had played it, I was like, this is really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot. And then I played 2. And then I was like, there are just no other games like that. It's just not how video games are.
Mm-hmm.
When it's probably the most formative game for me, for my opinions on gaming right now. Like, I know T-Mac and I have talked a lot about Last of Us, but really it's before that. It's Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 is the game that I played, and then I was like, whatever at the time it would have been, I don't know, 500 plus video games I've played at this point are garbage in comparison to Uncharted 2. It's such a meaningful game to me, where I was like, there was nothing. There was no comparison. And people talk like real people, and that is something that is very important to me, because, I mean, obviously it's in my top 3. Everyone knows I love it. Mass Effect, they kind of don't talk like real people. In most video games, they don't. You go from one thing to another, and someone says their line, and then someone else says their line, and it's like a quest giver, and someone accepts. And that's because a lot of it is filmed in a booth. And it's someone reads their lines and someone else reads their lines and then developers put it together. Uncharted was not made like that. Uncharted was acted. To my knowledge, it is the first game that was widely popular, to be used with mocap acting, where it's not just how they look, but it's little things where it's going to be hard for audio only listeners to understand what I'm talking about, but something just like putting your hand in front of your face, or the way your legs look, or scratching your shoulder, something like that typically wouldn't be done in a game where a character would just stand very still and stoic. That makes it feel real. And again, love Mass Effect, but Commander Shepard just stands there. That's what he does. It's what most game characters do. So to me, that just meant everything. And Uncharted 2 specifically is kind of a cliche story. The villain is supremely evil, doesn't really have much depth, and it's just a typical treasure hunter story, and there's nothing. The story doesn't have much depth to it if we're talking about pure narrative, the script. And yet, it kind of goes outside the norm for something that I normally like, because despite it being so cliche, the characters make it feel so much more real, or that's fine. Now, what I do like is, as Psycho mentioned before, as the series goes on, it gets more and more mature themes. So in Uncharted 3, we start focusing on the relationship between Nate and Sully. And I love that. And I'm sure a lot of people who played that game, that's probably their favorite part of the game. And then we see Nate and Elena's relationship develop. But then in Uncharted 4, it comes to a head. Now, I love Amy Hennig. Obviously, Uncharted being my second favorite games of all time. She did so much with Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. So much respect for her. However, when Uncharted 4 released, you can see that Neil Druckmann, just the type of writer and developer that he is, it did push the quality up. And I think the character that was introduced in the game, Sam Drake, is one of the greatest video game characters of all time. I just think that Sam is such a unique character with so much depth and nuance, and you really care about him. And then it brings Nate's relationship, not just with him, but with other characters, to a level. Because typically, I don't know about you guys, for me, when they do things in movies or video games or even books where someone says like, oh, actually, there's this hidden relative that you didn't actually know about, I hate that. It always feels forced. It never feels natural. Sam being Nate's previously not mentioned brother, it works. It works perfectly. You totally buy it. It fits into the narrative of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was done, I felt like it was such an amazing ending. It brings back to what Forgon was saying before about Halo and Mass Effect. It feels like the story has been done. You don't need to touch it, and I hope we don't. I know there are rumors of another Uncharted game coming. Give me a different playable character. Give me, a different time period, whatever. But Nate's story finishes in a very fitting way. Mm-hmm. I would not want them to undo what they did in any manner. And the series as a whole, I think, can continue without. So that would be interesting to see. And it has, with Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Right.
That, like I said, I didn't really include here, but it's a great game.
Yep.
But overall, it's the beginning of where I started to see what Naughty Dog could do. And obviously, I don't think it's a surprise what my number one would be, but talk more about that when we get to that.
Yeah. And I think, I've talked about it a lot, and I mention it all the time, because I feel like I'll speak it into existence. But there needs to be a spinoff where you play as Sam Drake, and you have Sully, and you kind of have them as co-leads and kind of have this buddy kind of thing going on. That would be amazing. I feel like they set that up so perfectly in 4. I'm like, oh, that's obviously what they're doing, but we haven't seen any proof that is actually what they're doing, which makes me concerned that they're not going to do that when it's just right there, and it would be so good. And there's so much room for developing Sam's character more, and even Sully and kind of the dynamic between those two, I think could be really, really great. So,
well, there was a PlayStation commercial like a year and a half ago where at the end of it, for about a split second, you see a girl with a torch in a cave. So I
You
think
know,
that Cassie Drake game is happening.
And that could be cool too.
But
We'll probably discuss that more later because I know Zoo doesn't like the idea of that. But
I've said this before, and I won't spend much time on this, but I feel like for these game franchises that just have perfect endings, Halo, Mass Effect, Gears of War, Uncharted, um, you know, they don't want to like abandon the IP because they know people love it. And instead of forcing like a legacy sequel on it of that's just not good, there's a lot of room if it's specifically like Halo and Gears of War and even Mass Effect to an extent. There's like room for a prequel.
mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, that would be a lot better because like Halo Reach, incredible. That's like the best thing they've done since Halo 3. It's a prequel. I feel like a prequel to Mass Effect, like I don't really want a prequel to Mass Effect, not really, but I feel like it
There's
could
so
work
many
a lot.
lores that they could talk about.
Exactly. It could work a lot better than forcing, some sort of a sequel. Gears of War, I like the sequels, but I feel like nobody really wanted sequels. Yet they're doing E-Day, which is a prequel, which I think will be a lot better received because you get to play as, you get to play as Marcus again and do some more of that stuff. So I feel like for Uncharted, like if they were going to make another one, it's cool he has a daughter or whatever it is. I don't know. But make a prequel instead. Like I'm sure there's something they could talk about before when the game franchise starts, like if they wanted to.
And there are also things that they can do where something like Last of Us, where I did not want them to touch that, and when they said a sequel was announced, I was very nervous. Then obviously surpassed
Yeah.
my expectations. So sometimes it works, but even if it works, it does make, at least for me, it makes me a little nervous initially. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, no,
the
there's
issue
always
the issue with sequels, especially like with sci-fi, like just on the topic of like Halo and Mass Effect, is like it runs into the problem that like we've kind of seen with well, I guess kind of the opposite with like Ridley Scott with Alien, where it's like I know he's done prequels, but it's like he's done prequels that have like added more to lore that kind of make things not
yeah,
make sense in the original trilogy. You could argue that with Star Wars as well. It's like when you do
yeah.
sequels and prequels to a lot of franchises like that, it's like they
It
probably
is
go
a
into it
fine
with the
line.
idea of like we're gonna add lore and concepts, but then like it can do too much in a way where it makes things not make a lot of sense that came prior, and that's why Terminator as well. It's like it starts to convolute things, even if they're pretty good. It's like I actually like Halo 4 and Infinite quite a bit, but it's like when you get into all these like ancient alien races and stuff like that, it starts to like muddle the plot. Like
Yeah. And with a sequel, there's just so much more that they can like, you know, take their own direction or whatever. But then again, it's like I don't want to, but it's like when a franchise gets too big and it spawns like sequels and books and movies and shows and whatever. Like Halo, like they had all these books, that were they had a lot of books that were kind of set after and like set in between and things they could have turned into video games that would have been kind of cool. And then like they take some of the core concepts from like the books and just kind of make it not
like
good.
Star Wars with the EU, they
And
repeat things, but
Star
like
Wars,
they repeat like the worst things.
yeah. So like, yeah, it's a fine line. At the end of the day, I just want good games. So like, I say all this, but I'll just be a complete fucking waffler. Like if it comes out and it's a sequel and it's good, I'll eat it up. I don't even care. So like, what am I talking about?
Well, I guess it's my turn again then. Yeah, am I correct?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Final
So.
one, our favorite video game of all time.
Oh right. Well, I have to do my number two. I still haven't done my two.
Oh yeah,
I do get to do my two, and then my one, and
Little
then we go
snake
back
draft.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my number two, I knew I had to have a Nintendo game in there, and I spent a long time like trying to figure out which Mario platformer was my favorite one.
Mario 64.
Right. So I was like, if I pretend that Mario 64 doesn't exist, are there any? No, I'm just kidding. So I had to like really think through it. I think I know what my favorite Mario platformer is, but then I realized like, what am I thinking? Like, Mario platformers are not even my favorite Nintendo franchise. So I was like, well, obviously this is the Nintendo game I've spent the most time playing, and it's probably the Nintendo game that I have the most passion for, considering that on my channel I actually made a full dedicated video essay about this game and how much I love this game and appreciate it. And I don't have the case for it right now with me. We have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I do really like Mario Kart World. Yeah, I do like Mario Kart World a lot, but I don't think that it like fully. It's kind of cool as a new direction for the franchise. It's less like what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is to me, which is like the ultimate like version of Mario Kart and what Mario Kart has been from the beginning. I grew up on like Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart 7. I played so much of those games, and I was aware of Mario Kart 8, and I had played a little bit of it on like a demo Wii U unit set up at my local Target when I was a kid. And so I was really like impressed by like the way the game looked, and I just never ended up getting a Wii U because nobody bought a Wii U except T-Mac apparently. So like I didn't end up playing that.
Hey, listen, there's 13 million of us. We're still going strong.
You'll find
Bro,
another
I
one
used to
someday.
sell Wii U's like crazy, bro. Nobody wanted that shit.
Yeah.
Is it sad that part of me wants to buy like a couple more just to have like because like
I mean, I'm probably gonna buy one someday. I'd love to have one.
I feel like one day they're gonna be very, very rare, you know, like
Yeah,
good condition ones with like the gamepad that's not like disgusting. Like I feel like one day it'll be really, really hard to get. If mine were to ever break, I'd be heartbroken.
Yeah.
How else am I gonna play Wind Waker? You know?
Yeah, you can't play the HD version on Switch for some reason.
Yeah.
You can't. You still can't.
Yeah. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's like beautiful looking game. The mechanics are like very refined and very precise, but like very smooth and intuitive, and it just feels really great, especially like with like the rumble on like the Switch Pro controller and like the Joy-Cons and stuff. It's a very satisfying feeling game. I've spent like so many hours just time trialing tracks just because I really enjoy the driving mechanics just that much that I could just play it for hours and hours on end, playing the same track over and over. And yeah, I've always loved Mario Kart. It's always meant a lot to me. I love like the community and like the competitive aspect of the game and all of that. And yeah, so that's probably if I had to pick like my favorite Nintendo game of all time, which is hard to do because I love so many different Mario games and other Nintendo games as well. But if I had to pick like my favorite franchises, Mario Kart, and my favorite Mario Kart would probably be 8 Deluxe.
It's also crazy how good that game looks considering it's a 2013 Wii U game. Like, and I remember when it came out because one of my buddies had a Wii U and we had like a whole night where we just played and it was like wow, like that's what made me want to get a Wii U really. It was just like this is so fun. Like this is just so cool. Like
yeah, and it's held up like on the Switch One. Like it's still like the best selling game on that system by far, and like it looks great. Like it holds up so well, like considering how old it is. And I think now going back to it, like I can see some of like the holes, like playing Mario Kart World and then going back to it, like you can see some of like the holes and some like the background details of the tracks and stuff. It's like, oh, that looks a little janky or whatever, but like you kind of have to look for it. And I think that's the thing is for so long it was like so like perfect as like the definitive version of a Mario Kart game that like yeah, we kind of wanted to see a new one, but we didn't need a new one for a long time, and I still feel like we didn't need a new Mario Kart. Mario Kart World is a really cool way to continue the franchise, but we really didn't necessarily need a new Mario Kart. But like because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is that good, and that's how it had such a long life, I guess. And I still play it from time to time. I'm wanting to get back into playing it again because like Mario Kart World, as much as I do really love it, it's like it's harder for me to get into it because the way the driving works is different. I'm going to make a video about Mario Kart World and like comparing and contrasting between it and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe soon. But there is something about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's like physics being so like intuitive and smooth, but also very rigid and precise that makes doing like the tech and the shortcuts in that game much more like fun and satisfying to me. Whereas like Mario Kart World feels like it's a lot more fluid and there's a lot more like really complex stuff that you can do, but it never feels as satisfying as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because it's just like a little bit too, I don't even know how to describe it. See, this is what I'm going to have to write down and figure out what I'm talking about before I try to make a video about it. But I guess I can just ramble since we're on a podcast and that's kind of how they work. But
real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick, do you want to know how many copies Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has sold?
It's something like 65 million or something like that.
It is the fourth best-selling game of all time at 77 million copies.
Foregone bought personally 70 million of those.
No, bro. I don't think I've played a Mario Kart since like fucking I don't even know, bro. Couldn't even tell
Probably
you
60,
last time I
probably
played.
64, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I think 64 might be. Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Mario
That's
Kart
just
Wii? Pete?
no. The Wii. So little foregone lore here. The Wii was my sister's console. So the only games that existed on the Wii uh, here in the house were Wii Sports Resort, and then the yearly Just Dance release that she got at Christmas, and my ass was up at like 7 a.m. dancing to fucking Bananas by Gwen Stefani or whatever the hell was on
That's right.
every single year.
Damn.
So
You ever
I
try
mean,
to-
all the way
Just
through
Dance
like
was still
2020, they put
yeah,
a
Just
one
Dance
out
was
on
still coming
2020.
out on Wii through like 2020 or something
Yeah.
dude,
crazy like
yeah,
that.
and so like I have some more foregone lore. I have a monthly like game night with some people at work, and we play board games and stuff. And then after we have a few adult beverages, the Wii comes out because one of them has a Wii. And guess what we play? Fucking Just Dance. And I cannot
That's
escape
amazing.
Just Dance on a Wii. I
I've
just
never
can't.
played a Just Dance. I don't
Yeah,
even
now I
understand what they
You're not
are.
missing, bro.
I don't
You're
even
not
now I
get it.
know.
But like,
Now I know what Foregon's number 1 is gonna be.
bro. I have Just Dance
Oh,
2017 right here.
Just Dance is actually pretty fun on Switch. Like one of my friends has it. We play all the time. It's actually a lot of
I
fun.
mean, it's fun. Like if you get to have, I can't believe I'm breaking down the Just Dance franchise, but like
this is what
it's
it's all about, man.
intuitive. You got to get in there. You got to get these arms going. You got to get those
Oh yeah,
hips moving.
That's
You
right.
work up a sweat. I'm a big back. I'm sweating after like a song and a half.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, I got to
Anyway,
do my number one now. So, because we just
I wonder what
Foregone
it could be
insisted
if
that
we
we have to do it like this.
I think I know what it is.
Can you
if we
find
zoom
it?
in on the back. Yeah, I
Yeah. Can
wonder
you
what it is.
find within my frame here where it is? It's right there.
yeah,
Next to Luigi and Baymax.
it's
Yep.
that Charizard right there, right?
Yeah. Charizard is my favorite game.
Pokemon,
Great, you
there you
figured
go.
it out, Foregone. Jesus Christ. No, my favorite game is actually not that game. My favorite game is Spider-Man Remastered on the PS5 because I've never played the PS4 version. And from what I've understand, there
It's
is
the same
differences.
game.
It's not. It's actually not because you're a noob. You don't understand. So
Yeah,
the
but
way
you
it works
you
is
can't.
no, the field of view is wider in Spider-Man Remastered. The game looks better. The face model for Peter is different, and I like the
Peter's a
PS5
different
version better.
man.
I like the PS5 version better because I guess I played it more. I've watched the
Bro,
original version.
field of view is a big deal.
It is,
That
and it adds a
FOV,
lot.
crank that baby up.
Yeah, and the main thing is the web shooter speed, especially like when you have no life like I do, and you just play on ultimate and play the combat arenas over and over again. Like, and you need to shoot 6 webs at a time to web someone up. You need like the variable web shooter speed and not the fixed web shooter speed from the first one, where like it's like you can push it as fast as you want, it'll go the same speed in the PS4 version. The PS5 version, it reacts to every button press, so you can just like absolutely like
I didn't even know that.
exploit that. Yeah, and it kind of breaks the game, but it also makes it more fun. So I think the improvements that, from what I understand, are not present in the PS4 version make the remastered version much better. And that's the only version I've played. And it is my favorite game of all time. And I don't think that'll ever change because I played it. I don't even know how long ago at this point. I think I played it when it came out on PC, which was not that long ago, relatively. But I had watched the game and I had wanted to get a PlayStation just to be able to play that game. But I was like a kid when it came out, basically. I was proud. How old would I have been in 2018? Like 2, probably.
Yeah.
So I was like,
People are gonna.
I think I was like 24, so
I had just opened my eyes for the first time, and I had seen this game, and I knew I wanted a
People are
PlayStation
gonna
4.
think you're actually a child.
Yep, yep. I'm 2 years old, actually. No, I'm
You
3
know,
years old. But
Yeah.
this was a game I was aware of, and I had watched on YouTube and things like that, and I was like, this looks so goddamn cool. I need to play this. Like, but I didn't have a PlayStation, and I couldn't afford one because I was a kid. And I was 2 years old, and I didn't have money. I didn't even understand what money was at the time. So I had to wait, and then eventually it came out on PC, and by then my brother had a gaming PC, so I would just play it on his gaming PC, and I like just fell in love with it. And even though I knew everything that would happen in the story, I still cried at the end. I've played the game like 18 times now because I bought a PS5 specifically so that I could play it. And it's like, for a while, it was my PS5 was like my Uncharted and Spider-Man machine, and it still kind of is my Uncharted and Spider-Man machine. And yeah, that's the game I've spent the most time in by far. I love the combat's so smooth, the like different combat mechanics and everything. Like, just I think it's the best combat system in any game ever. I think when you absolutely like push it to its limits, like it never stops being fun. And
You like it? You played the Arkham franchise?
I have, yeah, and I do like
You like
Arkham,
it
but
better than
there's
Arkham?
I like it much better than Arkham. I do really like Arkham, but Arkham feels very rigid and like there's a very specific way they want you to play that, and when you master it, it's really fun and satisfying.
Arkham is like the blueprint, you know?
Right.
It's the blueprint. But you can take it and you can, because Spider-Man is just, you know, Batman's very like he jumps towards the enemies. It's like an animation where you kind of like
Mm,
it jumps towards, whereas like Spider-Man, he can do that much quicker just by like the nature of his powers. You know,
right.
he's a fucking freak, so it's
Yeah.
like you know,
I mean, I
it
agree
feels a
with
lot
you.
more fluid.
I agree with you, Psycho. I think this combat is better than the Spider-Man games
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't even think of it as similar to Arkham. Like I know a lot of people do, and I think maybe at a certain level it is, but I guess the way I play it is I've kind of like, I don't know, like I said, kind of broken the game at a certain point where like I use all the traversal mechanics and like these weird exploits and things like that that just make it so fast paced and so like different from what Arkham is to me, which is like a very like slow, like it's very fun, but it is very kind of like slow and deliberately clunky with the way that Batman fights. Like Spider-Man is just so smooth, it's so fast paced, there's so much momentum to every single action, and you can do all these crazy different setups with the gadgets and with the movement mechanics. Like there's traversal mechanics, like launching off the ground and things like that, and like building up a run to like jump, like you can use in combat and just do like wacky shit with it that's just so fun. And it, yeah, you just never run out of like crazy things and crazy setups you can do, and it's fun. And I can just swing around the city endlessly while like listening to music or a podcast or something, and that's always super fun and never gets old. And I do love Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2 as well, but I still think the first game was just pretty much perfect, and it was just like the template they kind of built the other two off of, but it doesn't feel as good in the next two games. I feel like they maybe polished it a little too much in the next two games where it's harder to do like the crazy fun stuff that I really like to do. And maybe I've just gotten too used to the way the combat feels in the first game, but the next two didn't quite like uh recapture that for me, I guess. But I still do really love them. They're also some of my favorite games of all
The
time.
web swinging mechanics are probably the best in
Mhm.
any game, any Spider-Man game. I rarely keep games installed except for Uncharted and Last of Us on my game once I've beaten them, because I don't particularly revisit games that much.
Mhm.
I always keep Spider-Man installed because if I just feel like listening to music, putting on a podcast, I'll just go around and swing.
Yep, absolutely. And fight crime, that's always fun. That's the thing that I spend most time in, because like I mean I love like playing the combat arenas over and over again, but I also love like just finding like crimes on top of rooftops and stuff. And like I've done it all so many times, I've memorized like every single like Spider-Man line that he says like when he like pops in. It's like, oh, drugs are maybe my most disliked criminal activity, definitely top five or whatever. And he has all these different lines, and like I never get tired of hearing it because like the voice performance is just so good. Like it's my favorite version of Spider-Man. I love the story as well. I haven't talked much about the story, but I think it's like the best superhero story that I've ever experienced. And I played the campaign like probably 18 times, and I still like loved it every time. Like the themes and the characters and managing to fit all these different Spider-Man villains in a way that doesn't feel overcrowded or like, you know, distracting. Like it just works and it flows so well, and they introduce all these characters, like they introduce Miles Morales into the story in a way that feels so seamless and sets up his sequel, and well, not sequel but spin-off and eventually the sequel in such a perfect way. Like there's something like really special to me about the first Spider-Man game specifically that I like. If any game was going to be my new favorite game of all time, it would have been like Spider-Man 2, and it just wasn't quite the same. And I'm like, I guess that's what tells me like Spider-Man Remastered is my favorite game. So yeah,
Yuri Lowenthal, fantastic performance.
absolutely.
Probably my favorite version of Spider-Man as well.
I mean, you mentioned like listening to a podcast or music and swinging around.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of like there's a lot. There's like a thing where people say, and I don't necessarily agree with this. Maybe because I just like listening to podcasts and music, but like people say, like if you play a game and you put in a podcast or like listen to music while you're playing it, it's like not a good game because it's not captivating enough for you to like
I think that depends on what it is, though.
fully pay attention. And
You're
yeah, I
not
think
putting
you're
a
right.
podcast on while you're playing The Last of Us 2's narrative.
No,
Right.
no, not for a game like
If
that.
I'm playing the campaign, I'm not listening to a podcast. I'm meaning like if I'm just wanting to kill time for like an hour and just swing around, then yeah.
Yeah,
well, with
there's
Spider-Man,
weird...
also the way that game is set up, it's like if you want 100% every area and beat all like the, get 5 out of 5s or 10 out of 10s or whatever for like the mobs or whatever like enemies that pop up. It's like for the grindier stuff, like I'll listen to something during that. But yeah, the second
open world games, that's kind of perfect for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just it's something that I think about sometimes a lot when I'm playing something because like I'll turn on a podcast or something, or it's normally a podcast, and I'll be listening to it, and then it's like, damn, do I not really like this game because I've got a podcast on?
Right. Well, I've been doing that a lot with like Mario Kart World. A lot of times it's the other way around. It's like I want to listen to a podcast, but I want to be doing something while I listen to it. So I'm going to play Mario Kart and like drive around aimlessly. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, it's not like, oh, I need something to listen to while I play this game. It's usually, I need something to do while I'm listening to this podcast. So let me open up this game. So yeah.
Well, for number 1 for me, I think we all know what it is.
What is it?
Yeah. To the shock of absolutely everybody.
Crash Bandicoot. Oh.
Yeah.
It's the Avengers.
The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2. Specifically, if I had to choose, it is The Last of Us Part 2. That is my favorite game of all time. I can't imagine it will ever be beat. I went through a very interesting journey with The Last of Us because, as I said, I really enjoyed Uncharted, and I played Last of Us, and I remember it came out in 2013. I put the game in, and I continued to play there and sit there in my chair for 14 hours. I didn't stop to use the bathroom. I didn't stop to eat dinner. I did not eat dinner that night. I did not get much sleep that night. School in the morning. I think it was my senior year of high school, I think. And I just didn't do much except play the game. And I don't think I've ever played another game that has captivated my attention for so long. Captured my attention, rather, I should say. And I beat it in one sitting. Now, I've beaten other games in one sitting, but they're like 2-hour games, 3-hour games, something like that. Short indie game. Mm-hmm. Never something that's over 10 hours. Probably not something that's even over 8 hours. But Last of Us did it. And then I would let it sit. And then I would listen to people talk about The Last of Us. And I would say, it's good, but is it as good as people say? I think I like Uncharted more. And then I would go and I'd say, I think I need to replay this to really see. I'd replay it. And then I'd say, yep, it's as good as people say. And then time would pass and the cycle would continue. Until one year where I played it and I was like, it just is. It is the best game I've played, and I have to just stop thinking that it's not. I think as time would go on, I would just... Because it's not... I hesitate to say this because it makes it seem like I don't like it when obviously I do. But it's not really a fun game. The first one specifically. The second one definitely with the narrative. But I would not really describe The Last of Us as fun. So I think as time would go on, I would say, is it as good as people say? And then that cycle kept repeating. And then eventually, like I said, where I am as I am now, which is, I was like, yes, it is, whatever. But when they announced Last of Us Part 2 in T-Mac, I'm sure you know, what year was that?
Are you really testing my knowledge here?
Damn, I thought you would know.
Bro doesn't know.
I'll get you that answer right now. Keep talking.
All right. Well,
wait, no, that's Zoo's job. He's supposed to be the guy that looks stuff up.
Yeah, I was.
And he's asking you.
No, I thought it was me, so you can hear my clicky clack.
Oh yeah, that's
keyboard.
True. Can you demonstrate the clicky keyboard?
I wish I would have guessed because I would have gotten the guess right. It was at the PlayStation Experience in 2016. I was gonna say 2016. I couldn't remember the event.
So Uncharted 4 either had just come out or is coming out. Because I think it came out 2016, right?
Yeah, because I think in the documentary when they talk about when like they first announced it, they were there. It was the reason it was a surprise is because I think they'd already showed Uncharted in the show at some point. But nobody expected like Last of Us to even pop in there. So when it did, the crowd went fucking ballistic.
Right. And I was excited, but I was nervous because Last of Us ends amazingly. Ellie says a line that's okay. The credits start rolling. They play Gustavo Santaolall's "The Path," A New Beginning, my favorite instrumental piece I think in anything. And that was that. And I said, I don't need to see anything else. I understand what Ellie means by okay. That's it. I was very nervous that they would ruin it. How wrong I was. Because The Last of Us Part 2 surpassed Part 1 in every imaginable way. When I finished The Last of Us Part 2, a similar thing happened where, now obviously it's a 30-hour game roughly. It took me more than one sitting. But when I finished it, like how Last of Us 1 was a unique experience of me beating it, Last of Us 2 was unique that as soon as the credits rolled, I said, I gotta play that again. And for people who know me, you know that is not something I do. I do not rewatch movies. I do not rewatch TV shows. I do not... Movies, I should say, a little bit. I do a little bit of movies, but TV shows, definitely not. Games, other than Uncharted and Last of Us, definitely. So, to me, that was just something I needed to experience again. And I'll be honest, Last of Us means so much to me that when I'm not playing it, I kind of feel like I want it. I have played it twice in 2025, and I already kind of want to play it again. And it's kind of crazy to feel like that. But I love it. It means so much to me. I spoke about it at length on my channel that you can check out. But what I really want to say is that the writing and the acting, I think, just is another level, again, that we don't really see in games. And not only games, but I would put on par with some of the best movies of all. I think that it is one of, if not my favorite narrative of all time across all media. That includes books, video games, movies, television shows, anything. And I think, like, I forget if it was Psycho or T-Mac, one of you guys were saying that it puts you on this journey that you have to see it through. And if you see it through, I think it's well worth it, because there's something that Neil Druckmann, the creator, talks about, and I love it. It's exactly how I see, and it's the game wants to put you all the way in one direction intentionally, and then see how much it could pull you back. And that act of pulling you back, to me, is what makes the game incredible, because for some people, he doesn't pull you back. And you probably won't like the game very much if he can't pull you back. But if you go along the journey and it works and he does pull you back, to me, it's the most rewarding experience in video games and gaming as a whole. So I'm welcome to be proven wrong if Naughty Dog's new game, Intergalactic Heretic Prophet, or maybe a potential Last of Us Part 3 comes out, and they will be even better. Or
possibly,
some other game.
Yeah, something completely different even.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a Naughty Dog game. It could be another studio. I'm welcome to be proven wrong. I love when I find a recent experience that just makes me think, oh wow, this is why I love books, video games, movies, television shows, whatever. Recently, I watched 12 Angry Men for the first time, and I think that's probably my answer now when someone says, what's the best movie you've ever seen? And just seeing something like that, or even I watched Boogie Nights recently, and I think that's one of the best movies that I've ever seen. And when I experience something like that even me, who has consumed so much media over the years, when I could find something that still is at that S tier level, that always brings me so much joy. So who knows? It could happen. I'm not saying that Last of Us is untouchable, but I imagine, at the way I feel about it now, I don't think it'll be topped. And just the fact that it's essentially 3 protagonists of Joel Miller, Ellie Williams, and Abby Anderson. All 3 do a fantastic job, and all 3 actors of Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, and Laura Bailey have such great performances that I don't think I've ever seen a game, or really not many movies either, where every single main character is immensely likable and important and gives such amazing performances. Because sometimes you'll watch something and you'll be like, that's the standout character. Last of Us, I don't really think there is a standout character because all 3 of the leads are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever order I would order them, the third one, obviously, like, if you have to order someone, you could, but the third one is by no means bad. Whichever the third it would be, it'd probably be Joel for me. But I love Joel. But yeah, that's my favorite games of all time.
All right.
Okay. So I feel like this will either turn people off or surprise people, or because it's not a franchise I talk about much, because it's rare that you meet people that are like.
Is that a clue?
It's
rare. It. Is that a clue?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Alan Wake.
The real T-Mac fans, they know what's up. They know.
Yeah. So my favorite game of all time is Kingdom Hearts 1 on the PlayStation 2. Now, I'm curious. I'm showing this on camera. It's a very shiny cover. So it's a very dark and shiny cover. So I don't know how well it will come through. But you can tell just by looking at this. Again, apologies for people that are just listening. But it's like, this game is so like beat up and like worn torn, because this is a game that I would, when I was a little kid, I would bring this with me places. Like, I would bring it and just like study the back, study the front. I would like, the manual's all beat up because I would just take it. I took it everywhere. I would take it to school.
Were you some and I would just read through it like something?
I was crazy. I was definitely like, something was wrong with me. But when I think back on that, when I think like, what is my favorite game? It's like, it has to be Kingdom Hearts, because I don't know. It's interesting because it's like, you look at it from the front cover, you're like, so what is this? It's Final Fantasy and Disney? Like, what
I
the
still
fuck is
don't
that? Like,
understand what Kingdom Hearts is. No one has been able to properly explain it to me. I feel like I just need to play it, and then maybe I'll get it.
So the characters in the game are original characters, but like the main characters, but it's a mixture of like the other supporting characters or Final Fantasy characters from other games. And then you go to different Disney worlds, basically, and you meet Disney characters and you team up with them to move the plot along, basically. It's like you go world to world and you do your thing or whatever, but it was a collab.
Lion King world, stuff like that.
Yeah, and what's funny is the way the collaboration started, because you think of now in video games and licensing, and it's like, something like this would like never happen today. But when you read about it, it was simply just, there was a producer from Square Enix in an elevator at some conference. They met some dude that was there from Disney, and they were just like, we should do a collab.
Elevator
and then it just
pitch
happened. They just,
at its finest.
And they just did it. And it's directed by Tetsuya Nomura. Tetsuya Nomura is a longtime Square Enix guy. He worked on a lot of early Final Fantasy stuff, like programming, debugging. But then the big thing that really like cemented him as a name is that he was the character designer for Final Fantasy VII. So Cloud, Sephiroth, if you're
spiky-haired dudes,
all those spiky-haired people that wear a lot of belts, have a lot of zippers, probably have a big sword. And unless you've lived under a rock, you probably know who Cloud and Sephiroth are. They're in Smash Brothers, for Christ's sake, like very iconic characters. But he went on to direct Kingdom Hearts, and I got the game. I remember I got it for Christmas in 2002, so I was in 3rd grade. I got it with my PS2, and I was so intimidated by it because I was like, it's kind of scary, like if you're a little kid, because you are fighting like scary creatures in it, And I remember as a kid thinking like, just being so intimidated by it. I had never played a JRPG like that, even though it's not turn-based, it is third-person action, so it's a lot more, accessible to someone that isn't into turn-based or hasn't played a lot of games like that. But then once I finally sat down and played it, I was so young, but I fell in love with it. I was obsessed with it, and pretty much been my favorite gaming franchise ever since, and I've never looked back. And you know, people make fun of it a lot because the story doesn't make a lot of sense. I would argue it does for the early few games, but kind of like what we were talking about before, once you keep going through it, a lot of it's like, wow, this is just anime craziness, and
It's like
Tetsuya Nomura is like kind of lost his mind, but it's amazing, you know?
1 and 2 are a great duo, and then it just insanely complicated. It doesn't mean bad, just it goes very complicated, where the spin-offs aren't really spin-offs. Like, if you play 1, 2, and then 3, the other games really are not.
You have to play every single game to the point that even games that are mobile games are canon. Like, you have to know, they pull from all of these things. So Kingdom Hearts 3 was basically the big culmination of like everything they had done, basically. For someone like me that's a super fan, it's like I ate it up, and then to other people, like people in my own personal life that I'm friends with, tried to play it, and they're like, I have no earthly idea what's going on.
I only need to know one thing about this franchise. My boy Goofy. What's he do? How is he?
He's in there.
Is he great? Is he the GOAT?
He fights with a shield, bro. He's like a court knight. He's like Mickey's court knight.
Hell yeah, he is.
And Donald is a magician.
Yeah. That weird fuck.
Kingdom Hearts is probably at least top 5 nostalgic game for me as a kid. I have so much nostalgia for that series. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 mean so much to me. I don't get very nostalgic for things, but Kingdom Hearts I definitely have.
It's the music. I think that's what it is. The score is done by Yoko Shimomura. You could look her up. She has a huge discography of scores and soundtracks that she's done in all sorts of different games. But her music is I mean, I love video game music. I listen to so much video game music. I think Kingdom Hearts is still to this day just my favorite soundtrack across the board. All the games have good soundtracks. None of them are bad, but 1 and 2 specifically are just, it's like incredible works of music. And then you also have Hikaru Utada, who does the theme songs of Simple and Clean and in Kingdom Hearts 1, and what's the name of the one in Kingdom Hearts 2? I'm blanking. Sanctuary. Just like incredible, iconic, like when people think of Kingdom Hearts, they think of those two songs. Like that's like the two, like everybody like loves those songs. They're so good. But it's a wacky franchise about friendship, fighting darkness, saving worlds, saving your friends, and it's very heartfelt and silly, but I love it. I've loved it my whole life, and till the day I die, I will always play every Kingdom Hearts game. And it's funny, Zoo, you were saying how you always feel like you want to play Last of Us. I'm like that with Kingdom Hearts. Like I always want to play Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 because I'm obsessed with them.
To me, also, it was a great intro into Final Fantasy because the attraction to me was Disney. I love Disney games, Disney movies. So I had not played a Final Fantasy game, so it was like an introduction to these Final Fantasy characters. I was like, ooh, this guy looks cool. Why does this guy have really long hair and a sword? That's so awesome. Who is he?
Yeah, and that's why, and you know, game that I'll bring up in honorable mentions later, but it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth are also two of my favorite games ever, and it's like I probably would have never been interested in those if I hadn't played Kingdom Hearts, because it did open my mind. Like there was probably even a point in my life when I was younger where like I knew the Disney stories better in Kingdom Hearts than I did from film, because I had just played Kingdom Hearts so many times. Like, because when you're a kid, like, you know, I came from a pretty middle class household, so it's like most of the times when I got new games, it was at Christmases and birthdays, you know. So it's like throughout the year, I would just replay stuff that I had all the time, and like it got so bad with me where like I would do this thing where if I had nothing going on after school on like a Friday, I would go home and be like, let's see how far I can get into Kingdom Hearts 1. And I would stay up till like 1, 2 a.m. just like, and I would do this like consecutive weekends in a row. So it's probably the game that I know the best. It's the game that I've played and beaten the most. Like I don't even want to know how many times I've beaten it, because it's probably like a sickening number. Like, but I don't know. It's something about it. It's hooked me.
Nice.
All right. So I guess that leaves me.
No, we're gonna skip yours actually.
All
right, so on to the next segment. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this should not be a surprise as to what my favorite game is, and you're going to hear a lot of the same similar beats from what T-Mac just spewed about Kingdom Hearts. A lot of those same things can be said about this.
Or just said you were spewing.
Yeah, bro. He was
spewing
it out.
For audio listeners, maybe if they could only see your shirt.
Yes. Well, the shirt is a nice hint. Yeah. But it is actually not the same one, because my favorite game of all time is Part 2, The Sith Lords. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Much to T-Mac's points, this case is beat to hell. The manual is kind of ripped and folded over a little bit.
No disc.
The disc, I have the disc. The disc is sleeved separately, so it stays nice and pristine, as all my discs are. That is my favorite game of all time. Those two games are my overall favorite franchise ever. It's Star Wars. It's this is Obsidian, but it's BioWare and Obsidian, and it's like an RPG. It's turn-based. It's everything that I could have ever wanted. I love KOTOR 2 so fucking much. I don't even know how to explain how much I love it, and I'm going to try to, which is hilarious. So I got this in middle school. I remember it vividly. I no-life this game to the point that it's embarrassing how quickly I beat this game, and then immediately restarted and played through almost exactly the same way as I beat it the first time, because I just was like, I just want to do that again. It took me maybe to my fourth playthrough where I was like, all right, let's to pick a different class. Let's pick a different. It's phenomenal. As a kid, you don't know the inner workings of games and all that. Like, you don't know behind the scenes stuff. I did not know that this game was not finished. I did not know they had to cut stuff from this game. Everybody talks about this game being so buggy when it released. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm sure I experienced those bugs, but it never mattered to me. I just kept plowing through. My shitty little Xbox kept trucking, and I kept playing. I would force storm people to death immediately, force crush, all that stuff. So when I found out as an adult, because I now play this on PC because I don't have my original Xbox anymore, I now play this on PC. I mod it, which is incredible, makes it even better. I did not know that there's an entire, just sections of dialogue, sections of levels, just character interactions that got completely scrapped from this game because they didn't have time. So it's like it has the modern game problems where they just don't get enough time to finish this. I didn't know that the third part of this franchise, which it probably would have gone hand in hand with what I said earlier, the culmination of this franchise from everything that they have talked about, the developers, would have been incredible. But it's really the story of this game that gets me. The story of KOTOR 2, I think, is one of the most unique stories in all of Star Wars, ever. I love Heir to the Empire and all these EU stories, and of course the original stories and all that of the movies. But the story of this game being somebody that is so connected to the Force that they can literally, without even knowing, influence the world around them and the people around them to do what they want, good or bad, is so fascinating to me. And the villain, the Sith Triumvirate, each one of those characters is awesome to me in their own way. I know Nihilus is like the glup
Not really
of
a
the group.
character.
Yeah, he's like the glup of the group, but he's so powerful in the way that they describe him and what he
great design.
The design. And it's like that old saying, anything that comes out of a box is immediately over. Anything that has a crazy looking mask to me in a video game is immediately cool as hell. I don't even care. And then Treyas, once you finally figure out the story and what you're trying to stop from happening, it's such an interesting concept. Trying to completely destroy the Force from ever existing, trying to completely eradicate the Force from the world is such an interesting concept. So, and then you talk about Always wanted to play Last of Us. Always wanted to play Kingdom Hearts. I play KOTOR 1 and 2 every year, like twice a year. I play through them fully, full mod loads on my PC. You can't read for our audio listeners. I'm pointing to my video game shelf. I bought these fucking Switch Master Editions, which were like $200 each because I love these games. They like
Unlimited run, right?
Yeah, from Limited Run. I waited a long time. I will never purchase from them ever again because of how long it took me to get these. But you know, it's just like I don't know. It's just one of those games, and we've said all this about all of our favorite games, man. It's just like it's cozy, it's comfortable, I'm familiar, I put it on, it's incredible. I know the dialogue, I know like the special ways to like avoid things. I know like the shortcuts. I know how to completely optimize my character to make everything so much easier. I know how to make the game hard if I want a challenge. Like I can make this game hard for me. Like if you min max, I can do all that. And it's just, I don't know. It's like I can sit down and play it, and it just I forget about everything that's going on just in the real world, and then the next thing I know I've spent like 5 hours playing it, and I'm like, what the hell? Like I just I just want to get off the fucking Telos station. I just want to get to this place. I just want to get to that part. Before I know it, I'm halfway through the game, and I've like turned 3 of my companions into Jedi, and I've prestiged, and like I'm rolling, and I'm rolling. Like I know alien dialogue in this game that I shouldn't. And as a Star Wars, as a Star Wars fan, because like we're all like huge Star Wars fans, but like this just scratches the itch of like my favorite things about Star Wars. Like, of course, it's not like it's popular to like the bad guys, but I love the Sith like throughout all of Star Wars, and so this game is heavily focused around the ancient Sith lords, and you get to explore their tombs and their temples, and just it even adds like a little lore to like KOTOR 1, like Revan and Malik, getting to see them beforehand. I don't know. It's just one of those games, man, and I want these to get remastered or remade. It doesn't matter, but I really wish those come to fruition because there's an entire like generation of players who haven't got to experience these games, and they're hard to play through now. They are like really, really dated. So the best way to play them is to mod them, but like I know there's like an entire generation of not only gamers but like Star Wars fans that if they got a chance to play these and get through these stories, they would be blown away. Because I hear it all the time. It's like, my favorite Star Wars game is Battlefront or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's good, but these are the best Star Wars games because they tell the best story. They have the best characters.
What the fuck? Where'd he go?
We lost T-Mac.
Oh, I hope his internet didn't die, bro.
Oh god.
But
do we keep going without T-Mac or okay, he's back.
No,
I'll just wrap it up and say that that's my favorite game of all time, and I wish Obsidian could get a chance to do a third one or something. But yeah, that's it. And excited to roll through these honorable mentions real quick. Whenever we.
I apologize. I accidentally hit the X on my computer like an idiot.
You fool.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but I did it.
Wow.
Or we thought your internet might have died.
We thought you were just done listening to Forgon talk about KOTOR. That's what I thought.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I know you hate me, bro, but like, come on.
It's a sin that I haven't played those games. I don't know. I think it's because I just didn't have an original Xbox. Like the 360 was my first one, and I had friends that played it, and I remember always thinking like, "Oh my god, these look so cool," but I just never.
Dude, the Switch ports are genuinely good.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I gotta do it. I don't know.
And like, I know you don't really game on your PC, but you could easily buy these from Steam because they're not super intrusive at all, and you could easily play them on that PC.
Are the Switch versions? Why are those the best ones? Did they not do the same treatment of those on the other consoles?
Well, they're not on the other consoles. It's not a remaster. It's just a straight port.
Yeah, they're just port.
Actually remastered. A little.
Yeah,
why did they only do that on Switch?
It's the same thing. PlayStation does that as well.
Yeah, well, because it was what's the name of that fucking company? That's like they're the same ones who poured it over
Aspyr.
like yeah, Aspyr. It's the
Fire.
same ones that poured it all over those
Aspyr,
games.
that's what's called.
I think
Yeah,
it's
Aspyr.
Aspire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they just got the ability to just give them HD graphics and port them. They didn't because they were originally supposed to do the remaster or like the
Yep.
remake, and then all that stuff happened. So I T Mac, you love like RPGs and turn based. Like I don't know if you like turn
Yeah,
based.
you'll like
Yeah,
it.
like if you play Final Fantasy, I think you'd like them quite a bit.
Yeah, I need to do it. And I love BioWare too, classic BioWare, so it'd be cool to see them from their early roots.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that like I have a BioWare game and then I have like another game that's in the same franchise as they created, which is like this is where my like love for Obsidian started. Like this was like the first Obsidian game I ever played, and then I found Fallout New Vegas, and then that put me in the path of even more Obsidian games. That's why Obsidian's one of my favorite studios. So like I don't know. It goes back to saying like my favorite game studios just don't make games the way they used to anymore. And that's just like a
Well,
Yeah.
we can
a
all
problem
say
with
that. So
that, like with people like Bungie and BioWare, it's just like they're just not the same companies anymore because people
yeah,
leave
no,
over the years and things happen and things start to become like a shell of what they were. It's rare that
yeah,
it's rare that studios can go as long as they can. I mean, even like you could argue something like Naughty Dog, who we've glazed this whole time. It's like, I love Crash Bandicoot, but I don't know how many people are really there from those earliest days. Not many. I know Evan Wells was the president of Naughty Dog for years, and he was there kind of like from the early roots with Crash Bandicoot. But even he retired, and now it's just Neil running it. So it's like,
it's
at a
like
certain point, there's just people step away, people go to other jobs. So
like
it happens.
I think a little bit before Avowed came out, which is Obsidian's last game, they lost like a couple of their heavy hitters that had been there forever. And I
Yeah.
just like I don't know if you guys just saw this. The granted 343 is not like the same company in general. Most of those people who from Bungie like are gone. But like
Mm.
one of like the big time like Bungie holdovers that had been a part of Halo forever just left 343. Been there for like 20 years, so almost. So I'd have to pull it up, and but that just happened like a couple days ago. So
Hmm.
it's just kind of crazy. See if I can find it while we move on to something else. But
Yeah. Well, where are we wanting to do the honorable mentions?
Yeah, Foregone could do his honorable mentions.
oh yeah, I don't have very many of those. I can run through those quickly. Nothing crazy. Red Dead Redemption 2, which I can't find my physical copy. I may have gotten rid of that, so I need to get that again. Cyberpunk 2077. Love that fucking game. A new addition to the honorable mentions, which is on my shelf over there. I just didn't grab it because I didn't want to grab too many. Death Stranding. I'm a Death
My
Stranding.
boy.
I'm a Death Stranding boy, and I know that two will probably pass the first one. Uh,
Yeah.
I have so many honorable mentions, but I don't want to go too crazy. Just ones I grabbed. KOTOR 1, obviously. I love the first one. I just think the second one's better in pretty much every single way. Halo 2. Look at this. Look at this. For our audio listeners, this steelbook is beat to shit. This is my original one. I beat this game in 5 hours. I was sick as a dog when it came out. Stayed home from school, and I no life the shit out of this. And then beat it the next day with my father. Here's that fucking Last of Us 2, that dumbass, slop ass, woke ass, lovely game. Um, what an incredible game. And then this bad boy, Baldur's Gate 3, just an incredible game all the way around. I have so many hours in this game, it's not even funny.
Bunch
Uh,
of banger honorable mentions, bro.
yeah, dude, I could list honorable mentions like we said earlier when we started this. We all probably have about 30 to 40 games that can just cycle through this
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
criterion every single time. So yeah, that's it for me, bro.
Okay. I'm next for honorables, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to roll through these because again, it's a good bit, but I'll go through them. I got to get some Nintendo love because I didn't put any in the top three, but there's so many Nintendo games near and dear to my heart. So I got, showing this on camera, but Wind Waker. I have the Wii U remaster and my original GameCube copy. My favorite Zelda game, my first Zelda game. I wish they would put the HD remaster on Switch, but
Please,
they won't
please,
do.
please do.
They won't do that because they just do not like me, and Nintendo does not like money.
Yeah, they hate
Because I
it.
would buy that game. Well, they love it and they hate it.
I mean, they just have a lot of it. I
Uh,
don't know if they like it. But...
right. Okay, so Psycho's favorite that we've been joking about, Super Mario 64.
Get that out of
Also,
here.
I just noticed this is the player's choice copy. I can't believe that. I hate having player's choice or like greatest hits versions of games, but I guess I got this
what that was, but that's their version of greatest hits, I guess.
Several of my 3DS
Yeah, it's
like-
games are the
I have a slop copy of my
Selects or
honorable
whatever.
mention. I'll show you. It's a slop
Yeah.
copy. You'll see.
All right,
I
I'll
love
have to
Super-
look at my 64 carts to see if any of those are. Damn.
Yeah, I love Super Mario 64. This was another one that I played very, very young, and every couple years I'll play through it again. It's been a little while, but when it came out on Switch in 2020, I actually 100% did that. Can't talk about Nintendo without talking about Pokemon. I'm a big Pokemon fan. I have an Ampharos plushie on my desk currently, but Pokemon Emerald,
Litten
another
back
one. It
there.
just That's right, yeah. Pokemon Emerald is just another one. I love Rayquaza. I love the story in this game. I love all the legendaries. Incredible soundtrack, incredible pixel art. Just hit me at the right time, you know. And Gen 3 of Pokemon felt like a big step up because Gen 2 was kind of like a halfway point where, you know, they added like there was a good bit of Pokemon that they added, but 3 was like a very big. And this is like a whole new region that's very far away and very, very cool.
Yeah.
You got to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's one of the greatest games ever made in the sense that it's the ultimate team up of so many amazing franchises, not just Nintendo. Sakurai, the master director of Super Smash Brothers. Let's see. All right, these are the final ones. I mentioned Tetsuya Nomura before for making Final Fantasy VII, the characters. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, amazing. I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think, is a game that, like, it could be like my favorite game. Like, it could be, like, because I love it that much. I love the characters. I love the story. I love the gameplay. So incredible. And then you got to go with the Naughty Dog classics, Crash 2, early beginnings of Naughty Dog. And you got to go Jack 2, another amazing game.
I was waiting for you to mention Jack.
Yeah, Jack is one of those things where it probably should be in my top 3 because Jack, in a lot of ways, might actually be my favorite PlayStation franchise. Like, it's just, you know, I don't know many people that have played all 3 of them, and, you know, it's been so long since we got a game, and we'll probably never get another one again. Even though every now and then Naughty Dog will talk about Jack, like they'll bring up like, oh yeah, we thought about it, or like, you know, we've it's on the table, but it's like, who really knows if that will ever happen? And then my final 2 to stick with the PlayStation 2 platformers, Sly 2, another greatest hits copy, I can't believe. But I think Sly 2, I think, is one of the greatest PS2 games ever made. And then Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, another Insomniac game that I love so, so dearly. And Sly and Jack and Ratchet, much like what you said before, Zoo, how you kind of just, with your top, you pick franchises. I just love those franchises. I love every entry, like, done by Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and Sucker Punch, and very, very near and dear to my heart. And we're so important to creating, like, my taste in games, you know? Because PS2 was, like, starting to get a little bit older, you know? Like, reaching, like, you know, you're 8, 9, 10. So it's like those games are very influential and important.
So about
to
my
me.
age then?
Right.
Yeah.
I know that was a lot, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
Real quick before Zoo goes here, Glenn Israel,
Yes. Yes.
art director
Yeah.
from ODST through now, and then he said, I know that the state of our industry seems dire, but never forget you are free to choose. No illusion or security, nor promise of wealth or fame or powers worth trading away your health, your dignity, your ethics, or your values. He looks forward to sharing this story in its entirety in the future. So it doesn't seem like it was amicable. Seems like there may be a little, debauchery, I guess, is some shenanigans going on. Not great for the future of Halo, I think. Like that. Rough.
Well, I don't have a full T-Mac level honorable mention. but I do have two. I could probably talk about three. There's another one that I didn't grab that I'd like, but for two, I got the Ezio trilogy for Assassin's Creed and Red Dead Redemption 2. I think, again, was talking about Assassin's Creed before when Forgone was talking about Unity, but being such a history guy, and also I'm an Italian American, seeing Ezio's story in Italy was just amazing. And I don't think this is a spoiler because he's an old man and old men die. But seeing Ezio's story from birth to death is just incredible. I can't think of many characters where we see their lives from birth to death. Typically, you know, if you take Last of Us for example, we see a 5-year period of their lives. You know, Ezio we see from birth to death, and what an interesting, amazing life this man had. Obviously fictional, but meeting all real life historical figures. I always love that about Assassin's Creed. It's my favorite part of Assassin's Creed. Leonardo da Vinci in this trilogy, amazing. Love Leonardo da Vinci so much. But Ezio himself, I think Ubisoft and the Assassin's Creed franchise as a whole has always been chasing Ezio 2.0 to make another character that's just as good as him. And I think they've tried and they haven't been successful. Edward comes close. But I think Ezio is like the perfect Assassin's Creed protagonist. I think Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Brotherhood not far behind. Then Revelations is great as well. But just seeing his whole arc, like I said, from birth to death is so rewarding. And if you don't like Assassin's Creed, I would still suggest to play this trilogy because it does essentially stand on its own. You don't really need to play anything else. You just play these three and enjoy it. I would say that one does matter for the modern day story, but on its own is just Ezio's story. You can play these three. But I wanted to point out, T-Mac, and for our audio listener, the copy I have has a free ticket to the Assassin's Creed movie printed on the box, which is so stupid and dumb because that movie was horrible. It was awful. As someone who loves that movie was awful.
That movie's terrible.
Yeah.
But I have a steelbook of it, bro.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
There's a point in the movie where Michael Fassbender says, "What the fuck is going on?" And I just laughed in the theater, and I was like, "I don't know. You tell me, bro."
I drug my father to that, and when we left, he's like, "That's the game you play all the time?" And I was like,
I
no.
dragged my whole family.
No, it's not.
It was me. It was me, my parents, my two brothers, my cousin, and my friend. All of us went to go see it, and afterwards, I was like, "I'm sorry."
Guess what else is terrible that I have a steelbook of on my gaming section?
Don't tell me you have the Halo TV show.
Halo TV show season 1. Guess what I keep waiting to go lower to buy? Halo season 2.
That's crazy. You're insane, bro. Oh my god.
Awful, but I need it on that shelf, bro.
Yeah. But then Red Dead Redemption 2, I think that's probably my answer as what's the best game ever made. I think it just is such a great combination of narrative and game. I think Last of Us is a better narrative, but I think Red Dead Redemption 2 has better gameplay and a better world. It's more of a game.
Mm-hmm.
I know T-Mac isn't as high on it as some other people, but to me, I do think it's the best. And like Last of Us, when they announced the sequel, I was very nervous. And it is a prequel. And I was like, oh no, is this going to fuck up the way the characters are in the first one? No. Red Dead Redemption 2, even more so than the jump in quality between Last of Us 1 and 2, it is vastly superior to the first Red Dead Redemption. Because it's not the first Red Dead. Red Dead Revolver does exist. A lot of people forget about it. That's also
a great game.
But Red Dead Redemption 2 just shows so many different characters, and they all matter. All such interesting arcs and the way they are. Even the lesser known members of Dutch's gang. And I think Dutch Vanderlyn is probably, if not my favorite, the most interesting character to me in all of I would love a prequel to this game about how Dutch started out. That to me is such an interesting story beat that it can go. But it's not for everybody. I know that some people say that it's just, there's like too many life things you got to do, fishing and hunting and going all throughout.
You don't
and
have
looting. Yeah, true. You don't really have to. But I just love the way Rockstar makes their games. To me, GTA is fantastic satire, parody, fun games, but Red Dead is like the pinnacle of what they could do. Now, maybe GTA 6 will surpass that. Because I thought GTA 5 was the pinnacle of the studio, and then Red Dead surpassed that. So we'll see what GTA 6 does. But
I think Red Dead and LA Noire are both better than
LA
GTA.
Noire is also great. But yeah, I'm not even talking about the multiplayer, and I love the multiplayer. It's so fun. I spent so many hours with some friends playing that. But overall, I would say that it really does showcase what games can do. I want to say my dad has a study, a room where he just, man cave, whatever you want to call it. If my dad is in that room on PlayStation, there's a good chance he's playing Red Dead Redemption 2. So he loves that game. He's replayed it constantly. Or he'll just hunt and fish.
Yeah, it's great hunting and fishing. Yeah.
So it means so much to me. It means so much to my dad. It's a nice game that I could bond with him over. But my last honorable mention, I will say that when we're discussing what games to do for this podcast, I would ask Psycho, I would say, would you kindly be able to put BioShock on that list? Because BioShock is a fantastic game. It's a first-person game, and other than Halo, I was a little reserved to play first-person games at the time. I was like, oh, not really my... there's something that happens midway through the game that I unfortunately did have spoiled for me, but if you don't know, it blows your mind.
Mind blown.
It is just one of the most interesting games that I've ever played, and what a fascinating world. And if you don't know about the story, I would highly suggest going in as blind as you can.
Dude, Rapture's so cool. It's one of the greatest environments ever made.
Oh, for sure. I can't
Bro,
wait.
the first time you come across a little sister or whatever.
And a big daddy as well.
And a big daddy. The first time you come across them, you're like,
if and when we get to that on here, I can't wait to hear what someone who hasn't played it before think, because that's
best horror franchise game franchise of all time.
I don't know, because unfortunately I never finished BioShock 2 and I never started BioShock Infinite, which is crazy. I know I would.
Yeah, that's like a sin. Like,
yeah,
you gotta.
Well,
I don't know what you're doing.
I think I'll save that for when we go through it. But
BioShock is one of the best. One of the best cases of a game where it's like a lot of the story, it's first person, and like you're in this new place and you're kind of figuring things out as you go. Like, it's a great example of like the way they use audio logs. The way you pick up the audio logs and it just tells you more about the kind of like how Last of Us has notes and stuff like that. But it's like BioShock, it's like you're learning about all these characters like that are so relevant to the plot through all these audio logs that you find, and it's done.
And if you
storytelling.
Skip that, the story is kind of not.
You miss so much. You have to look around and you have to play the audio logs. Like it makes so good.
Everybody at school when that game came out was like playing that game. It seemed like all of us nerd gamers were playing that, and I just remember for like weeks on weeks, it was just everybody was like, "Can you fucking believe like that?" And I was like, "I know." I know.
And it's so like, and I think when you're younger you don't realize it too, but so much of both 1 and Infinite, it's like so much political commentary on like just wealth and like like hubris, and like it's awesome. It's so good.
I'd definitely like to pick up the Switch versions of those at some point when they go on sale again. If we're gonna do an episode on those, I'll probably grab those.
I know you said that you don't really have honorable mention, but something that I was curious is you didn't mention FNAF.
I didn't, and I could definitely mention that, and I have a couple of things. I wanted to mention a couple of 3DS games that I really like Mario 3D Land, I think is a really fun like handheld 3D platformer. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is a very fun game. I think it's very underrated. And the original New Super Mario Bros. Was the first game I ever owned.
Love that.
And
Great.
so yeah, I definitely mention all those. Also a more recent uh, DK Bonanza, incredible.
I was just about to ask, bro. What about
Yeah,
Donkey Kong?
I need to include
I'm like halfway through the game, and it is great.
It is, yeah, some of the most fun I've had with a game, probably since I played Spider-Man. Which I don't know, like if I like it as much as Spider-Man, but like the feeling of just kind of getting lost in the game like that, I hadn't had that since. And by Spider-Man, I mean Spider-Man 2, which wasn't as long ago as when I played the first Spider-Man. But yeah, and of course, Last of Us, both parts would be on there as well. But we talked about those, and Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2 as well, and Batman Arkham Asylum I love as well. I think like that's another game I replay quite often because I love the story in that game. I love that it's relatively short, like you can get through it pretty quick. I think the pacing is great. I love like the performances, like Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are great, and yeah, it's just a really fun, like solid Batman story, and I think the gameplay is really good. Yeah, and yeah, I guess I could mention FNAF as well, which is like FNAF is a weird thing because I don't think they're like the best games of all time. They're just like solid indie horror games that like obviously did a lot for like the indie horror genre, but like for me it was I got into them around what'd you say?
They're cozy for you.
They are, and I got into them around like when COVID hit, so they're almost like kind of nostalgic at this point, which is weird because it doesn't feel like COVID was that long ago, but it was like 5 years ago at this point. Yeah, so I kind of just get like nostalgic feelings when I play like especially like the original like 4 FNAF games, and yeah, they're I don't even know how to talk about FNAF. I wasn't prepared for this, honestly. Maybe we got to do like an episode on FNAF sometime because I have a lot of like complicated feelings on FNAF and like where the franchise is now, especially. I'm really just not terribly interested in. It's just those original like 7 games, but really like the original 4 that I really love, and I loved like the community and like the content creators surrounding it, and the lore is like so like stupid but also so fun to like analyze and talk about, and it's a special thing because I really don't think they're the greatest games ever, and I don't think anyone would argue that they're like masterpieces of gaming, but like they're more than that. They like transcended beyond being games and became something like that's a lot more special to me that I can't really articulate properly, I guess. You can probably see like my plushies over there. I got Freddy, Foxy, and Bonnie over there, and yeah, I collected a lot of the FNAF merch and toys and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a special time. It's kind of like part of what got me through COVID, I guess, and made like COVID like actually an enjoyable time for me because it was kind of just when I got really deep into like hobbies and stuff like that, and just escaped and forgot about everything that was happening in the world. And yes, it's kind of nostalgic, I guess. I wasn't expecting to talk about FNAF today, but I'm glad you brought that up, Sue, because that was a good point. Definitely one of my favorite franchises.
I was not interested really in the franchise very much until I met you,
Hmm.
and then you got me to play the first 4, and then I played Sister Location as well, and definitely the first 4 I enjoyed more than I. And
Yeah.
I got through all 4 of them in under 15 total for the all
Mhm.
4. So it was,
They're very short, but that's
you
kind
could
of
really
yeah,
play you could play the first 4 in a weekend easily.
yeah,
So I really enjoyed doing that with you because I played them while you watched.
yeah.
I streamed them for you, and that was a lot of fun.
I got to watch you struggle to figure out what the hell to do, and you were like, What do I do?" And I was like, "I can't tell you. The experience is that you don't know what the hell to do."
Yeah, I feel like I still don't know what to do in FNAF 3. I don't know how I beat that.
FNAF 3 is a good example of like this game isn't good, but I love it so much. Like there's just that game doesn't make any sense. Like the gameplay is so like non-intuitive. It's so weird. It was not very well done. It was funny because you like got through like the first 3 nights without anything happening, and then all of a sudden night 4 you died like 100 times. It's like I don't know what to tell you. You were supposed to like learn this stuff on the first 3, but nothing happened because the game's broken. But yeah.
Also, real quick, this is irrelevant to what we're talking about now, but when we decided we were going to talk about our favorite games on here, and we all went to grab our physical copies, I originally was going to grab the original version of each, and then I realized I don't know where Last of Us is, and that kind of like made my heart skip a beat. If I can't find my Last of Us, I think I'm going to buy a piece. I like don't like the idea of me.
I don't own it. I don't own a PS3 copy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not anymore.
I think I let someone borrow it, and they may not. Hoping we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
The person I might have let borrow it is my dad, so he might still have it. I'll have to. If it was someone else, then who knows where it is now. But hopefully, it's my dad who I let borrow it. I'm gonna have to check.
Mm.
So this whole podcast was Psycho's idea, but this next segment was something that I had thought of, which was not just talking about new games, but talking about a kind of like a game club. You know, I'm sure everyone knows what a book club is, film club, whatever. But where we play a game or a series, depending on how we want to do it and how long the games are, stuff like that, per month. Since the podcast, we want to upload at least once a month. To start with, it'll probably be just one. But we're not 100% sure yet how we're going to do that, if it's going to be just one game or the series, but we'll see. And I'm sure by the time episode 2 is out, people will know. But the first thing we're going to do is Uncharted. Myself, T-Mac, Forgon, we've all played. I'm sorry, not Forgon. Psycho have all played Uncharted.
I've never
Forgon
played
has not
Uncharted.
played.
I just thought it was probably one of my top 3 favorite games, just to guess. So,
Yeah.
I'll say too real quick. I've played through the series twice. I've played through the series twice, besides Lost Legacy. But they're not, for as much as I love Naughty Dog, like, and I remember the big moments from the games, and I love the games. The Naughty Dog games I've played the least, and it's been a little while, so it'll be kind of fresh for me going into it.
That'll be nice. And I'm excited for Forgon to play it because he always says this is slop compared to Tomb Raider, but as someone who loves both franchises,
hang on.
I feel like...
What is it, the Uncharted collection? That's what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only has 1 through 3. It only has one.
And then there's the Lost Legacy and Uncharted. There's more slop we're going to have to cut out, motherfucker!
no, why do we have to cut this out?
I'm asking
No,
because...
No, we got to cut this out because we're helping him.
I'm just gonna buy it live on.
Well, no, there's 2 because there's...
Oh, buy that shit physically. What you doing?
It's $20.
Wait, are you buying it on PlayStation Store?
Yeah, or I could upgrade my PlayStation account, just play it
Don't
without...
do that.
Bro,
Don't do that.
You could buy it physically for $19.46.
Bro, you'd be saving like 56 cents or something.
Bro, Mr. Physical Media, fuck your fucking digital shit.
Forgon, the second collection for 4 and Lost Legacy, it's called Legacy of Thieves collection.
Yeah,
it's PS5 only.
Yeah,
that's included with mine.
Yeah, so you could play that.
All right.
Love it. Love to see it, bro. Love to see you swipe that card on camera.
Zoo's on his phone now.
I think Tomb Raider, the newest Tomb Raiders, has better gameplay, but Uncharted has a better narrative. But they're both great. And obviously Lara Croft has a huge legacy behind her.
I thought you were going to say a huge something else, but...
I mean, she does have that too, but...
Listen, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. I love Tomb Raider. Like
I played the definitive edition one, so that was the first of the new trilogy. I really did enjoy that one.
And you didn't mention Tomb Raider in your mentions. I guess you don't like it very much, do you?
I think the new 3 are, it's part of this mysterious floating, living, breathing, like top 30, 40 games. Like it's definitely up in there. But I do think, just like the nature of it, it is kind of hard for me to put something like that. I think I could maybe get it into like my top 20, but I don't think I could get it much higher than that. Just
sure. But yeah, we'll see how future things go with that. But to lead into that, since obviously we didn't do one for this episode, we're just going to talk about the current games that we've been playing.
Mhm.
So for me, the main story-based game I've been playing, just generally speaking, not story-based games, I consistently play Fortnite and I consistently play MLB The Show. I'm a baseball fan, Yankees and Dodgers. So that's just typically I'm constantly playing those. But I did recently get Ghost of Yotei. I love Ghost of Tsushima, as I talked about earlier on this podcast. But Ghost of Yotei, so far, I've only been playing for a few hours, but it's very fun. I expect it to be just as good as the first one, if not. So we'll see. And I didn't really get overwhelmed in the open world of the first game, which is something that happened pretty frequently when I was nervous that there might be some burnout for me playing Assassin's Creed Shadows earlier in the year, and that's pretty similar. You know, time period, art style, historical.
It is.
But
It is.
I also I never finished Shadows. I went to Star Wars Action Figure Convention ICC Con in May, and I just never went back to it. I still want to, and I probably will try and finish it before the year's. Probably after, if I'm not burned out from the feudal Japan setting of Yotei, I'll probably go into Shadows afterwards. But I also do want to play Clair Obscura Expedition 33 before the year is out. That might have to wait a little bit, but we'll see. I'm definitely going to play that relatively soon. But other than that, I've also been playing Battlefield 6. A lot of fun. I will say I'm more of a Call of Duty person myself. I'm better at Call of Duty, and I do like the fast-paced, closer combat. You know, something like Call of Duty, I can get like 40 kills. Battlefield, sometimes I'll get like, if I get like 8 or 9 kills, I'm like, oh man, that was a great game for me. So it's just a different type of game. But I'm playing with a bunch of friends, so it's a lot of fun when you have friends to play with. Also, I've been working my way through the Coot and Spiral series. That T-Mac has been watching me for a bit. I like to play. I'll stream for him, so he could help me with some stuff and just see what I'm doing. That's been a lot of fun. Like I mentioned earlier, I did that with Psycho with FNAF.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I did take a little break for that because Ghost of Yotei came out and stuff like that. But I am working my way through. I did finish Spyro the Dragon 1, which was great. And I'm about 2/3 of the way through Spyro the Dragon 2. So, very fun. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. Who's going next?
I'll go. I'll be pretty quick.
Right.
Everybody on this show knows, because I've talked about it a million times still in private, but I spend a lot of time playing Death Stranding 2. I played for like, I don't even know, 140, 150 hours, but I beat it. I platinumed it. I loved it. Kind of obsessed with it. Like, think about it every day. Listen to the music every day from the game. It's awesome. But I moved on to Ghost of Yotei, similar to Zoo. I started playing that for a few hours, but then I decided I kind of want to focus on that once. I don't know, like I love it. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I love Ghost of Yotei so far, but I kind of just decided I think I'd rather. I haven't played Clair Obscura Expedition 33 yet, and I really want to play that before the end of the year because, when we get into game of the year time, I feel like it's probably the thing that's the most likely to win game of the year. So I decided I want to start that, and then at the same time, I'm also halfway through Donkey Kong Bonanza, but that's kind of been more a game that I've just play. I play here and there, and I've also been 100%ing it as I go, so I've been kind of going all out. But I'm like at the halfway point, so and I'm loving it. It's awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to keep going through that too. But yeah, for now, mainly I'm trying to just focus on those two. I'm gonna do Expedition 33 and then finish up Donkey Kong, and I'll have some free time next week, so I'll probably finish Donkey Kong or get very, very close in the next week or so because.
Yeah.
I'll be away from home for a bit, and I'll have my Switch, so that'll be the thing I'll probably focus on in that time.
I think that game took me about 40 hours to complete, and I was doing a lot of the side stuff.
I think I'm at 25.
Okay.
And I'm halfway through, so.
Yeah. Well, the 100%, it took me 95. So there's a lot to collect in that game. It's
I
very
think when
fun.
I 100%ed Mario Odyssey years back, I think it took me around like 80, 85 hours.
Yeah,
So,
I never
yeah.
100% at that one. So that's what like made me like realize how much I love this game because like I loved Mario Odyssey, but like I didn't
Yeah.
feel compelled to like get all 800 whatever power moons or whatever, but like Donkey Kong I just did not want to put down. And after I 100%ed it, I just started up a new save file and started playing it again.
Yeah,
So,
I'm like a glutton for punishment with 3D platformers and 100%ing them. I just have to do it. Like
mhm.
it's just because it's so doable and it's so like I don't know, it's something in my brain where it just checks all the boxes. It's very rewarding. Like 'cause in Mario Odyssey, it's like yeah, there's only like 880 or like 900 moons, but you can buy your way to 999, and I did that.
Yeah.
So, which that's like a grind to do, but I wanted to do it, and I was very proud when I did it. So that's why with Bonanza, it's like yeah, I've completed 100% at every level as I've gone through it. So I'm committed at this point, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of
I want
backtracking with it, but yeah.
I wanted to talk about real quick because you were talking about games that you just finished with Death Stranding. Uh, because I recently finished Mafia: The Old Country, which I'm a longtime Mafia fan. Really like the Mafia.
Mhm.
That was one of the better ones, I think. Might be my second favorite ever. Really enjoyed that. But then after Mafia, I played Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and that has become one of my favorite games of all time. Just Metal Gear Solid 3, because it is a remake, but it's a remake. So I'm really just considering it
Yeah,
as
it's the same
a
game,
game.
just fresh coat of
Right.
paint.
It's like I don't think anybody would really consider the part one different than the remaster, different than the original Last of Us.
Right.
But some remakes are very different, like Resident Evil, I think, substantially different, where you would consider them different.
Especially
But
like
this
yeah,
is
like
just
Resi
a
2
remake.
and
Yeah,
3.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
But
different game.
Metal Gear Solid 3 was fantastic. The story was amazing. The gameplay, just wild Hideo Kojima-ness.
Mhm.
He's such a interesting person, and how he makes his games are so interesting. Um, Seeing Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel, the Little Mermaid, as a different character was so interesting, and she plays like a sexy femme fatale, so really cool and different from obviously the Little Mermaid,
Mhm.
which is why she used a pseudonym for a long time, and that was revealed that a few years ago. I think it might have been last year actually, but loved that game. Loved David Hayter as Snake, and yeah, those were the two games that I had just prior to starting Ghost of Yota.
Nice. Well, I
Yeah, I
wasn't.
can go.
Yeah, you can go. I was gonna
Okay.
just say something, but it can wait until
No,
my turn.
okay. Yeah. Currently, as we live and breathe, I am working through Ghost of Yotei. Obviously, picked that up. Big fan of Ghost of Tsushima, so I imagine I will like this one as well. I'm probably the furthest out of the three of us that are playing. I'm probably the
Yeah, because
furthest along.
T Mac and I only are a few hours in.
Yeah, I'm into like the second little area. I'm out of that first little area, so little further. Absolutely love it. Um, I'm playing Borderlands 4. I have beat that. But now I'm just on the grind to max level so I can be set for any future DLC or whatever. So I'm playing Borderlands 4. Um, and then as far as like upcoming games, I have Outer Worlds 2 in like a week and a half that I'll be playing as well. Super excited for that. That's probably my most anticipated game of the year, I think, for me was Outer Worlds 2. Um, I have finished this year. I finished Expedition 33. Incredible game. I can't wait for these guys to play it and see what they think. I think it'll probably win Game of the Year. The only
Yeah.
other one that I think that could beat it would be Death Stranding 2, which I haven't gotten a chance to get through yet, but I would like to get through that this year. I have it installed. Um, I played Assassin's Creed Shadows this year, beat that. Good game. Although I think Iote might change my view on AC Shadows. I think that might knock it down a peg. And then I beat the first Death Stranding this year, which I had been putting off forever, and that was an incredible game. So I played a
You're
lot.
the first person I know in my personal life that has played through Death Stranding. That's not me. So I was very proud of you. I was so happy that you did it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I've got stuff in my backlog that I like, poke around in and pick around in every now and again that you know, Zoo was talking about always playing MLB The Show. I always have college football 26 this year ready to go. I can play that at any time. WWE 2K25, I get on there and play that every now and again. So, yeah, bro. I bounce around between a lot of games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna talk about like games I had just finished. I was just gonna talk about ones I'm currently playing. So that would be usually I can't play more than like 1 or 2 games at a time. And I've been talking to these guys a lot lately about how I've been trying to cut back on like buying a lot of new games because I have such a backlog right now that like I have so many games that I really do want to play, and I end up just buying other games and playing those instead. So I've just been trying to kind of go through games I've either started or have bought and not started. So I've been playing a lot of Blasphemous, which is a indie platformer. Yeah, it's kind of a Metroidvania type thing, hack and slash game. It's got really unique like world building and art direction and stuff like that. And I really love like the music and the way they tell the story is really cool. It feels kind of like if you put a Souls game in 2D, it's kind of feels like it's something that like the general aesthetic of everything and the vibe feels very FromSoft, and I really enjoy that about it. Um, and yeah, I feel like it's one that kind of like isn't appreciated as much. Like people know it, people have played it. It's obviously not like a super obscure indie game, but like I feel like if people like I know a lot of people are playing like Hollow Knight Silksong right now. Like if you finish that, you haven't played Blasphemous and you like Hollow Knight, you'll probably like Blasphemous a lot as well. Same type of game, same type of thing. And yeah, it's very, very fun. So I've been playing a lot of that because that's when I started a while back and just didn't get around to finishing, even though I really liked it. So I was like, well, let me go back and finish that. So I'm getting closer to finishing it. It gets pretty hard. Main thing about it that I don't like is that like some of the bosses will be like super easy and I'll beat it in like 1 or 2 tries, and then the next boss after that will be like incredibly hard. It'll take me like dozens of tries to beat it. So I don't like that there's kind of an imbalance of difficulty. I guess it doesn't like consistently ramp up the way you'd want it to. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. So hopefully that gets fixed with the second one because I own that as well. So I'm wanting to kind of go into that one after I finish the first one, or maybe I want to play something else. I don't know. But I've been playing that, and for Halloween season, I did buy this. I bought Resident Evil 4. I recently played through the original, and I loved it. I thought it was very fun, very unique. I hadn't played any game that kind of felt like that before, but even though it was fun to play something that unique with like the way it controls and stuff like that, I did like feel like if this was like a modern game, I would like it a lot more. So luckily I've been proven right because this is like really excellent. It looks great. The controls are great. It's so smooth, and like the combat feels really polished, but it's also like very tense. Like it's very fun. You playing as Leon, and obviously Leon's like typical like badass like action hero guy, and so like you kind of get that vibe like, oh, I can take these enemies and whatever. But at the same time, like it is a horror game, so they managed to keep that same like tension like in a way that the original didn't quite do as effectively, I don't think. I think there is kind of like this, it's very slow paced in the original. In this version it kind of like adds some more action elements to it, and makes it a little more fast paced, makes it feel a little more intense and frantic, but uh, it increases the tension a lot more, makes it feel a lot scarier. So I do enjoy that, and the voice performances are really good, the graphics look great, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So I'm looking forward to finishing that. I was just playing that before we hopped in this call to record this, and I was on the section with like the cabin where you have like the hordes of enemies crawling through the windows. Very fun. There's some changes that they put in there, where like I don't know if any of you guys have played, or if anyone like watching, if you've played Resident Evil 2 remake, and the way you have to like put planks up on the doors to keep the zombies out. They kind of added that mechanic into this section of the game, so it kind of added more to it, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, just little things like that.
Have you played 3?
I've not. I'd like to go back and finish 2. I played 2. I didn't finish it. But I'd like to go back and finish 2 and play 3 at some point. But mainly I wanted to play 4. And I didn't want to... Because really, like, I wanted to play through some of the Resident Evil games for Halloween season. And I didn't want to force myself to play through the ones I was less interested in to get to 4. I'm just, like, feeling Resident Evil 4 right now. I just want to jump into that. So, but yeah, once I finish it, I might go back to 2 and play 3 as well. But yeah, that's all I've been playing lately.
It's like you're saying with the controls. I know. I wish they would remake Resident Evil 5. I don't know if they will. I don't think it's in the. But you know, Resident Evil, especially 4, and earlier. I mean, it's like you can you just played it. It's still playable in modern times, but
yeah, it just takes some getting used to. Yeah.
Right. The controls are just something that. For me, graphics don't bother me. I don't care. I'll play an old blocky game, polygonal.
I wouldn't say the original looks bad, even graphically. Like it holds up.
It doesn't.
But for me, the controls are hard. A reason I've never played Metal Gear Solid 3 until now. I've attempted it, but the controls just really bugged me. I was unaware. T-Mac actually told me earlier this year that a month or so ago, whatever, that the Metal Gear Solid, I think it's called Master Collection or something like that, right?
Master Collection Volume 1, yeah.
That did update the controls. So I'm probably going to buy that at some point. The original 1, 2, and 3 Metal Gear Solids.
It goes on sale all the time. In November, you should just buy it because it'll be on sale.
Yeah, for sure. But something like what you're saying with the controls, I played Silent Hill 2 when it came out, loved it, amazing. But I went to go back and play it, the remaster, not the remake, in like 10 years, and I was like, this is unplayable. The controls are... I don't know how I did it. It's crazy.
PS1 games like that are just... The tank controls for games like that are just rough. They're very rough.
But I don't know why I didn't buy it when it came, but probably because I had so many games at the time, and I still do, but once I get through all these games, and I'd like to buy the Silent Hill 2 remake, because I've heard it's a great...
I'd like to play that as well. Silent Hill F also looks pretty cool from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. So, just games like that with those type, like T-Mac said, tank control. It's a lot harder to go back to, but you could, when there's updated options, I feel like that's an easier, more accessible way at least to play.
So I guess that's going to just about wrap it up. I think there was a couple other things we wanted to talk about. If any comments are left on the YouTube, or if this goes up on Spotify, we're not 100% sure how that's going to go yet. But if it goes up on Spotify, there's a comment section there. We'll go through the comments. We'll pick out some to read if anybody leaves any. If there aren't any, then we will just skip this segment entirely and tell people they should be commenting. And
I'm sure, if we do, which we probably will, upload it to the typical podcast sites like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, whatever. You could leave reviews there. So people leave reviews and as long as they're not trashing.
Yeah, bro.
No, I'd love to read those.
Subscribe.
1 star, 2 woke.
Yeah.
Reviewers.
I'm gonna say I 2 stars because there's too many Tyler. Gotta cut one.
A star for Tyler.
I'm out.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna return Uncharted.
Yeah, feel free to leave a review. That'd be fun. On my channel, I'll upload you could just comment. Something I also wanted to talk about is I know this doesn't affect T-Mac, because unfortunately he does not have one. But myself and Forgon, myself, Forgon, and Psycho all have Backloggd accounts. And
yes,
I heavily do update that. And I've been going through. It's a painstakingly long and hard process, but I've been going through, literally reading every single game that has come out on every single console and logging and saying, yes, I've played this, yes, I've played this. So far, I'm up to the PS1. Luckily, I'm almost done because the PS4 and the Xbox 360 on, PS3 on. Yeah, PS3 on and the Xbox 360 on. There's a log of play because I can just look. But for the earlier consoles before PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, there were no logs.
You got.
So luckily I did. I think doing it myself, I had about 1,000 games, and now I'm about 1,050. So I really didn't add many games. But I'm going through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Probably by the time this is uploaded, I'll probably be done with that process. So I will link all 3 of our letterbox below.
Or Backloggd.
Letterbox. That's a wrong. Letterbox is for movies.
Mhm.
But I will link all 3 of our backlogs.
I was gonna
Maybe we can convince T-Mac to make one at some point. I feel like it would be
It's
great
fun.
because the way he treats letterbox is so nice. Maybe we could convince T-Mac.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Why don't you have a backlog?
Because looking at my backlog stresses me out too much, and it
Yeah,
puts
but you could
it.
just. It's just a name.
It
bro.
makes
You
it,
can
it just
ignore-
reminds me every day that there's so many games I want to play that I won't be able to, and then I'm gonna be dead.
Just ignore the
Sorry.
backlog section and then just log the games you've played. Like you don't
Yeah,
even have to
I
touch the
could.
backlog section.
I could.
I feel like it would be fun to see, people who listen to us. They'll be like, "What is T-Mac play? Let's look."
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd have to go through, I guess, my game shelf, and then I'd have to go and look at like my digital
Yeah.
libraries on my
I think
consoles and see everything I've played.
All 3 of us are gonna make an executive decision that if you don't make a backlog, then you're off the.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll report back.
I have a better idea. How about if he doesn't make a Backloggd, then you're off the podcast?
Okay.
What a twist!
I'm not making one.
Damn.
Damn.
All right.
What a betrayal.
Well, I guess we'll have to
RIP.
figure out what to do next month without Sue on here. Figure out where we're going to upload the video. All that. I also wanted to mention the music that we're using for the intro and outro was created by a friend of ours, Rain. They're very, very talented bass player, and they're in a band called.
Banger track.
It is a great track. They wanted to shout out. I want to shout out their band. It's called Eliptica. They make some pretty cool stuff. If you want to check them out, I believe they're on Spotify and other music streaming platforms. So definitely check that out.
We wanted something to have like an Uncharted and Last of Us feel, so it has like the strings of Last of Us, but like the bombastic, adventurous nature of Uncharted. So I think he did a great job with how it is.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that he made that for us.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it turned out very good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'll hear that again at the end. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to add before we end it?
That's it for me. This was a good first episode.
Yeah, it was.
No.
I think that does it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Should we say it for Jacob, even though he's not here? Endure and survive. Sic Parvis Magna.
Survive.
All that stuff. Shout out Star Wars
Bye.
Collective. See ya.